And welcome back to MD Global Muscle here at the Rise Me studio with me, your host Giles. And we're joined by the new NPC Nationals Super Heavyweight and overall champion, Carlos Thomas Jr.
Thank you, Giles. It's crazy to hear that, man. It is crazy to hear that. I don't know if it'll ever sink in.
Mate, honestly, well, we had you on 6 months ago, and normally very rarely do we have amateurs on. I can't even remember the last time I had an amateur on, but obviously if you watch Global Muscle, I must have mentioned you 4, 5, 6 times in the last few months, and I've said, look, this guy is just a pro waiting to happen, and you've just won. Like I said to Nate Spears, in this episode, you haven't just got your pro card. You've just got a pro card by winning the Nationals at the NP, and you've won the overall. Lee Haney, Sean Ray, Kevin Levrone, these big names, and you've got it at the biggest show that you could get it at.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's an amazing feeling, Giles, to follow in the footsteps of, the people that you just named, and most recently, Sergio Oliva Jr., Hunter Labrada, Jonathan Witherspoon. These are guys that I look up to as well as the older guys such as the Kevin Levrone and the Sean Rays and the Lee Haneys, and to be in such good company, such prestigious company. Like I said, it's just so surreal. Like I almost don't believe it. Because 6 months ago we spoke, and then now it's here. And I'm just like, wow. So maybe it'll soak in. I don't know when it'll soak in, but I'm ecstatic to be in such great company and amongst such great bodybuilders.
So are you still at the hotel, right?
Yeah. So right now we just finished up the photo shoot, quite literally just finished up maybe 10 minutes ago. So a little raw and real right now. We're still at the hotel.
Nice. Who'd you do the photo shoot with, and how did it go?
I did it with JM.
Nice.
So JM's awesome. It was very smooth, very relaxed, very fun as well. The weather here in Orlando is great. So it's not too hot, not too cold. So it feels great outside, and yeah, it was good. And he also invited the winners of bodybuilding to go up and train at the gym in Pittsburgh. So that was great. I'm definitely going to take him up on that opportunity and get some footage and some training in.
Oh, you got it. That's a real honor to be invited.
Yes.
You got to have that extended to you, because they love it when they have the new champions. They want to welcome you properly, into the pro league and stuff. Mm-hmm. That's a huge honor, mate. That's a really big deal. That's cool.
Yes. So I plan on definitely going up to Pittsburgh because it's not too far from me. I'm right in Delaware, Philadelphia area. So it's not too far of a flight or a drive. So I definitely want to plan to go up there sometimes next year and get some good training and footage in.
So let's talk about the actual show, mate, because I said we had Nate in this episode, as I said, and to be honest, I even said last week before the Nationals, I said I've got a feeling this is going to be one of the best Nationals for at least a decade. And it absolutely was. I watched some of the live stream, and the amount, the quality, the quantity, the production, it just seemed to be one of the almost like those big Nationals in the 90s. It was really back with a bang.
Yes. I agree. I think it was probably one of the best the best that I've been to out of the ones that I've attended and the ones that I've competed in. The level of competition, the camaraderie, like you said, the level of production, the fans, it was insane. The energy, it was probably the best. If I was a fan, it would be probably the best bodybuilding show I went to in a while. Wow. Amateur bodybuilding show, in a long time, just because of the energy there. It was amazing. You'd have to, if you were there in person, it was an experience to cherish for sure. So
you've done the Nationals as a middleweight. I said it in the hot news. Is that correct? Mm-hmm. That's correct, isn't it?
Yes, I've done it as a middleweight.
Middleweight. So that's 80. So just for the sake of the viewers, that's under 80 kilos. So what were you weighing in that one? Were you bang on 80 kilos or?
I was around 176, a little bit lower, 175.
So you were 175 on stage. What year was that?
2017.
2006. So 4 years. You're coming back not as a light heavyweight, not as a heavyweight, but a super heavyweight. What did you weigh yesterday?
Actually, if you really want to know, I weighed right above the cusp of heavyweight.
Oh, really? So you were 101 kilos?
Yeah, so I weighed in right above the cusp of heavyweight. But after, the whole process of drying out, I actually weighed in. If you want to know, I actually weighed in at 220 on the day of the show.
Oh, bang on! You're literally bang on. So you literally could have been in either category.
I could have been in any category, but I weighed in for heavyweight. But for the day of the show, I weighed in for super heavyweight. But the day of the show, I was 220. Yeah.
So what was the plan? Was the plan to bring you as a heavy or a super?
The plan was super the whole time. Yeah, but the plan was super, but to really bring in some good conditioning to the supers.
Yeah.
And better than I did at the NPC Battle Royale. That was the whole plan.
Was that the Armed Forces one?
That was the Armed Forces 4 weeks ago. Yes.
That was 4 weeks out. And I mean, to be honest, you'd never ever brought that level of size, not even close to the stage before.
Yeah. And I feel like we still have a lot of room to grow. Obviously, like I was 220 on stage and I weighed in at around 225. So I have a lot of room to grow into, my frame.
So if you're 220, 225, you know what I'm going to ask next with regards to pro. Are you going to go open, or are you going to suck it down to 212?
Honestly, I think if I feel like my physique has the look of an open pro. And if I do it correctly this year with a great off season, I don't see myself quite making 212. But we'll have to see. We'll have to see if it shakes out that way. If I can get down there, people don't think Derek Lunsford would have made 212, but he did. Yeah. So you never know. So if my body goes in that direction of a 212 for say the first 2 years or so, then so be it. But if it goes in direction of growing into be an open pro, then that is the goal.
Thing is, you remind me of guys like Hidetada, Ronnie Raquel, where they're literally you could sort of, like you said, you could try your hand at 212 or you could try your hand at open. Flex Lewis was absolutely bang on, dry shredded ready for 5 years as at 225, and he took that around the same sort of weight, so he took that decision to kick it down to 212. But it's nice to have that option, isn't it?
It is. Or you see like recently, say as like I know Hadi.
Hadi.
He could. Who knows? He could probably suck down to 212, right? But is that his best look? It does. He could probably fit better in open because it's just his best look. Same thing. With Flex Lewis. Was his best looks at 212, or will they be now in open? So it's very pretty cool to see like how bodies can shift and one could be 212 or open. So I'm very interested to see where I go this off season. But the overarching goal is to eventually be an open pro because I do want to be on that open Mr. Olympia stage one day.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, things have been kind of turned upside down in the last couple of months because like Sean Clarida now and Angel Calderon are winning open shows. And Sean Clarida was lighter than he was at the 212 Olympia and he was only 174 and he's beaten Regan Grimes. So it's whatever your physique looks really best at.
It really is. Yes, it is. And as we could tell, from this past weekend, I was the lightest super on stage, right?
Yeah.
And we were able to take the supers and then the overall.
Yeah.
So it really is just whatever you show up your best at.
Yeah, I remember the 10 years ago actually, the British Championships. There was a guy who wanted to make heavyweight, and he ended up being 101 kilo. So he was in the supers and he ended up winning the overall. And he said, well, to be honest, he says, I'm happy I didn't lose those extra couple of kilos. He said, because I might have lost my fullness and I might have lost the heavyweight. So he said, I always say to people, look, come in whatever you look your best at. And then just, like Hadi, William Bonac, these are guys that, Hadi probably was around 215. I'm guessing 250 at the Olympia this year,
Correct, yes.
And he's like top 5, So it's whatever you look your best at and you feel you're most confident at.
Yes, sir. I couldn't agree more. Definitely going into, next year, this off season, we want to try to, bring up the weak parts, still bringing up the back and just, making a more complete physique. But again, if the body goes in the direction of, it's like you say, at 215, but I look my best, then, I feel as if you should go where you look your best.
Yeah.
And that's what we did this time around. We wanted to go where I felt that, where we felt that I looked my best. So,
yeah, it's nice when I've been sort of hyping somebody all year, I've had you on Globe Muscle, which is typically really normally pros. And when somebody actually delivers Like, honestly, mate, you were making me a little bit nervous at the armed forces because you looked a couple of weeks out. You looked 4 weeks out from the nationals. And I was thinking, I really hope this guy brings it in. I hope he brings it in, because to see somebody with your actual, because really your level, your physique is pro level. It has been pro level all year. You know, anyone could see that. Anyone could see your progress pictures on your doorstep.
Yeah, the green door, yes, sir.
Hang on. I was also, in the hot news, I said, what do the neighbors think? Are they driving past when they see you posing on your front doorstep?
The neighbors are pretty much used to it. So they, as I'm posing, they're like, "Hey, how's it going? How's it going?" You know, so they're pretty much like just used to seeing me in my trunks at like 7:30 in the morning when the light's out in front of the green door, getting it in. But occasionally you'll get like someone who just stops and drive back. They'll stop and be like, "Oh my God, like what is going on?" You know.
So I'm guessing you don't have a backyard or back garden, or is the light just really good on that front doorstep?
The light is just really good on there, and honestly, I'm a sucker for just consistency and just kind of it makes me feel more comfortable when I'm like in the same spot, you know, like I've tried switching it up and taking other places, but I just don't feel comfortable mentally, you know, like it's kind of like you kind of have that like what do you call it? That routine, you know, like it's just a routine. It's just like you don't want any bad juju. You go to a different spot. Who knows what might happen? Yeah. But if you stay, it's like bodybuilders. We're creatures of habit. You know, you might eat with the same fork, eat with the same plate. I just take, you know, and I believe taking, you know, your progress photos in the same spot, and you know, I've been doing that for years now. So I can, you know, and around the same time as well. So I can just track, you know, my progress of like around time of the day or in this month, like this is how my body was reacting, you know, and the lighting is the same, or the depth is the same. So it really helps with just like looking back at photos as well. Yeah. Because if I were to change my positions all the time, you know, the lighting would be different, the angles would be different. So I try to keep everything consistent. And plus, I'm just comfortable in that spot as well.
That's a very detailed answer for why I asked you. That's great. So, I mean, thing is, I mean, bringing a physique, I mean, really, you know, you were a middleweight, and then you're bringing this completely new physique to the big stage. Now you've won the nationals and you've won the overall. Does it make you feel more confident with the physique you have now?
Yes, it definitely makes me feel more confident. You know, coming in, I was always, I'm always a self critic, and I'm very hard on myself. So I know that I need to bring my back up a little bit more. So like, I was like, okay, well, how will it contend? You know, I know it's been years since I've been dieted down to, you know, a lower level of body fat. So like, how low will my body fat look compared to others who have been consistently dieting years and years and years, or, so I did have a little bit of like, you know, these like conscious things that I've had in my mind. So getting on stage and having the confidence and seeing just getting up there again, felt great. You know, I have a great team around me who reassured me that, hey, like, look, you're looking great. You're on track. So having these people around me, my girlfriend, having my trainer, my coach, my dad, people who see me and all the time, and they saw how my body was changing throughout the week. Every time they told me that I was making progress, like even if it was like hour to hour, then that grew my confidence even more and even more. So by the time we got to show day, I knew that we would be ready.
Did you have any problems prepping? Because I know you got a really good job. I forget what it is now, because it was 6 months since we spoke. I forgot what it was. But you have a very, very kind of high-pressured, sort of very demanding job. You know, yeah. Did you have any issues kind of prepping and trying to balance everything?
Yeah. So it was great. We actually hired another research coordinator who actually took a lot of stuff off my plate. Who was able to, you know, kind of relieve a little bit of stress and the duties that I was doing throughout the year. So that helped out a lot. And then I had accumulated a lot of days off, like a lot of PTO. Good. So I was able to strategically place those, you know, around prep. Like, okay, I might be, you know, I knew like, okay, this will be a week where we're pushing a little bit more. You know, I could take a couple days off of work, or, you know, like I was able to use my PTO strategically to, you know, when I needed it, this prep. And again, we just hired a research coordinator who was able to take some pressure off me as well. Good.
That's really good now, because I was thinking, I hope he's going to be okay, you know, with his, because you don't want one to suffer. You don't want your prep to suffer, or you don't want your job to suffer. You want to kind of, the goal is to manage both properly, you know, and successfully. So is Carlos Thomas Sr. proud?
Yes. I thought he was going to jump on the stage, man. I thought he was going to jump on the stage and and start posing with me, because he was standing up, giving me cues. Everyone, like my whole, everyone here was like my family was just like just legs, keep abs tight, glutes, just everyone was right there with me, almost as if they were on stage with me, just making sure that we got this job done, and we did. We did it. And that wasn't just me; it was everyone. Kenny Wallach, my posing coach, was there, giving me directions, hand signals, landing this plane.
Fantastic.
So it was great. And yeah, my dad was right there, just probably one of the loudest in the crowd.
Fantastic. Because I heard it, they like, as an over experience as a Nationals, they said it was one of the best. It's one of the best ever.
Yeah.
Really was. That's what I keep hearing.
It was wonderful.
Yeah,
it was wonderful. It's like the amount of people we had there. I think it was the largest crowd that I've seen at a Nationals that I've been to. I've been to the one in 2016, 17, and now this one, and it was probably the largest crowd that I've seen. Yeah.
And it seemed to be that the bodybuilding classes were the ones that had the most excitement around them. And I think at the Nationals for a few years, it was like they were more interested in physique or classic. And it's good to see that bodybuilding was really like front and center,
I'm telling you, there are some heavy hitters, and there were some heavy hitters in this show. In the middleweight class, you had Jacoby and Matt Jansen's client, who looked amazing. Heavyweight, you had Justin Shire.
Oh,
Nate
he's good.
Spear,
He was good.
There were some heavy hitters, in the light heavyweight class. These guys were on point, and I believe that everyone who turned pro will be great pros.
Yeah. And also, I said this to Nate. I'm showing off a bit here, but last week there's a thread on MD, and I said, from what I've seen, I said the Nationals is going to be one of the best for over a decade. I said I see the supers being between Carlos, Chris Fine, and Nate Spear, and Chris was fourth, but I can't believe I was so happy that I got it so back on.
Yeah. Cool. Predictions were right. Yeah, Nate, man, he's an awesome dude. I believe Nate is definitely one of the most epitome of bodybuilders. He's a bodybuilder's bodybuilder, an intelligent guy who works hard, and and he's improved on his physique every year. Yeah. It was a crazy stacked class in the supers, the heavies, light heavyweights, and to me, I thought it was probably the best Nationals that in a long time, in a few years.
Absolutely. I mean, anyone, even before the show, I felt like that was how people were feeling about it. And then, it just seemed to have a real buzz about it.
And the hype. It had a lot of hype around it this year.
Yeah.
It was a lot of hype coming into it, and it felt good. And it feels good to have bodybuilding have this type of attention and hype, from, the community again. Because I kind of felt like it dissipated a little bit the past few years.
No, it did.
But to be but to have it back to prestige of the Nationals, and to have such great athletes compete, it was wonderful. I had a great time. I had a great time here.
Good. And also, funny moment, you probably haven't seen the live stream yet with the commentary when it came to the overall. All you guys were looking at your numbers. Did you see that? Because you're 155. Was it one? He says, look at the guys checking the numbers to see, because obviously they call that, I thought, go watch it. That's really funny, because the commentators were finding that really funny. You're looking down at your numbers, it was cool.
Gotta be sure. You're like, is that me?
Yeah. Wow. And he won the supers, and he won the overall at the Nationals, mate. That's just a drop the mic moment, isn't it, really?
Yeah. That should go down as one of your predictions of the years.
Yeah. Well, God, yeah, because I said, okay, I'm going to bring up Carlos Thomas Jr. again. I said, but look at this guy. I said, it's just, and I kept saying as it was in the lead over the months, I said, I hope he retains this impressiveness. I hope he retains it. And then you just did, and you just got better and better and better. And you brought it, mate. So huge congratulations, mate. You've done the job, and you've set out what you achieved to do, mate, at the biggest show possible.
Thank you, Giles. And I really appreciate your support and your belief in me as well. That means a lot. And I told you I wouldn't let you down, didn't
I? Yes, I did. Yeah, I've got it on camera.
Yeah. So cool. We were able to pull it off. And again, it's so surreal, because it's something that we've been working for, and working towards. Since I've started bodybuilding, and to have it to come into fruition, it's amazing. Yeah. And now, to be thinking like, okay, now what's next? Let's soak it in, and how can we get better? Yeah. And now I'm up there with the guys that I've admired for years, for years, the guys that I've admired for years. And I'm like, I can finally compete against these people that I've looked up their photos, and I've like seen how they prepped and watched their YouTube videos. So it's like, to be in that company is amazing, and I just feel so blessed right now, to be honest, Giles. It's like my heart is very full, because I'm surrounded by the people that I love, and I'm able to do what I love, and now I'm able to do what I love professionally.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. A pro. I mean,
awesome.
gosh, just you proved yourself. And also, I wonder if there's ever. I'm gonna have to go back. I know Dexter Jackson went from bantamweight to like a super heavyweight, but that was when he was a pro. Do you know what I mean? You've gone as an amateur. I know Derek Lunsford went from welterweight to light heavyweight, but you've gone from middleweight and you've gone light heavyweight, heavyweight to super heavyweight. I wonder if anyone's been as successful in one class and then jumped 3 weight classes. I wonder if that has ever happened before.
I'm not sure. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. We can look that up.
Yeah.
That's very interesting because, I don't know. I'm not sure. There was Derek, and maybe there was someone else, but I can't remember.
Sean Clarida, but I think he turned pro. Well, no, I don't think anyone's jumped 3 weight classes. Put it that way.
Yeah.
Cool,
yeah.
Mate.
But it's. I'm just very excited. I'm ecstatic.
Awesome. Well, mate, I said, it's always nice to follow up when someone's just, really done the work and they've really succeeded. It's always great. And thank you so much for coming on at short notice, because I like to get them literally while you're still literally, you literally just come off stage, and the next morning you just come straight from the photo shoot. So thank you for DMing me back at like 4 a.m. it must have been.
Oh my God. Well, we didn't get off stage till like 2, so and then I had to, so we were already up. And then adrenaline's pumping, so you can't sleep. So I was already up.
Wow. All right then, mate. I'll let you go get some lunch or breakfast or whatever it is over there. And and I'll. Are you going to beat the Arnold Classic in March or?
Maybe so. Maybe we'll get some. Maybe we'll get some tickets and head out there. So I would love to definitely go to the Arnold Classic. I think this is going to be a good one as well. We got some new faces showing up, and we got some old faces showing up too. So
yes,
I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be a nice battle of like old guard, new guard, and try to and see what happens there. So it's going to be cool.
Yeah, and you can see how, because at the end of the day, that's you'll be looking at your future competition.
Exactly.
You got to sound them out.
You know what, Giles? It's freaking crazy to think about it like that. It slipped my mind again,
Yeah.
So I definitely would love to go. Would you be able to attend? I don't know how it is with restrictions.
I think I'm pretty sure I'm going to be there.
Nice. Okay then. Yeah. Well, I'll have to show up then.
Cool. I'll see you there, mate. I'll see you there. Right. Okay. Congratulations once again, Carlos. And I'm just so happy for you, mate. So happy for you.
Thank you so much, Giles. I really appreciate it. And as always, thank you for having me on. I appreciate the content that you do, supporting bodybuilding and, and just putting positive energy out there for the sport. So thank you.
Carlos, new IFBB Pro, got a good ring to it, that, isn't it?
It has a good one right there.
NPC overall nationals champion. That is absolutely, you're in good company. I said Lee Haney, Vince Taylor, Sean Ray, Kevin Navarone. These are legends of the sport.
The coolest thing is they have like this, like a wall they made that has all the names from the past years. And then, so my name will be going on there as well.
Oh, wow.
And that is ecstatic. They have it from all different categories. So yeah, that'll be really cool to see next year.
Oh, that's awesome, mate. Awesome. Well done. Well, fully deserved. Thank you so much for coming on MD Global Muscle once again, mate. And like I said, just enjoy your Christmas. I think you're going to, and all the best for next year, mate.
Thanks, Giles. And we'll see what happens with some pro shows next year too, right?
Oh, awesome! Right, I'll get you on again in a few more months then.
Yes, sir.
Right, thank you, Carlos. Bye, mate. And welcome back to MD Global Muscle here at the Rise Media Studio with me, your host Giles Thomas. I'm joined all the way from day after the NPC Nationals, Nate Spear.
What's up, guys?
Nate, I like it when the competitors are still tanned up, mate, because that's just the best way, best time.
Raw and real emotional,
Yeah. Mate, you just got your pro card. You just did really well at the Nationals. How'd you feel?
Oh, man, it's a dream come true because the people that follow me, I've been pretty close numerous times, so I think I've been runner-up from a pro card before this 3 other times. And then I also placed top 5 before a couple other times. So it's sort of been one of those things where I've been sort of in the grips of it and pretty close. So to finally sort of get the deal done is it's a weight lifted off my shoulders and a huge achievement for myself.
I mean, that I said in the hot news segment we filmed before, I said, I think that's, I mean, I even before the Nationals, I think this was one of the best NPC Nationals in terms of quality and quantity for, I think, about a decade.
Oh, yeah. Well, so that's another cool thing is to be able to, accomplish, achieving my pro card in a class of, 22 super heavyweights or whatever.
Wow.
And then there, I think 40 heavyweights, that's pretty cool because I know at the beginning of the year, like USA's only had like 8 guys or something in the supers. And there was a couple of shows that I would say like are on the weaker side. So to be able to compete against some of the best guys in the US, and, the top 5 guys were remarkable. So, I mean, you got, a guy like Matt Berzikov, who's been a runner-up before. He used to compete with Steve Kukla at Teen Nationals.
Wow.
John Azari, he was the top 3 with Sergio and Eddie Braccomanis back in 2015. He did the show. Some big names like that. Good guy, Chris Fine, who got 4th. He's a really big super. So to be able to beat some of those guys really makes me feel like I earned it and, as rightfully so.
Because I was saying in the hot news, I said it's great to get your pro card. If you get your pro card ever, it's a huge achievement. But if you get your pro card at the NPC Nationals, it's always, because I've been following the sport since 1990, it kind of does, it's a little bit extra special when you get it at the NPC Nationals, isn't it?
Oh, definitely. Well, sometimes people will be like, because I did turn 35 this year, so a lot of people were saying like, oh, when you go the Masters route, and it's nothing against them, but it's just for me, I'm a big bodybuilding nerd as well. So the prestige of, being able to earn my card at, say, NPC Nationals or even at NPC USA's was really something that I really hoped and dreamed for because, that's where sort of all the greats had achieved their pro status.
Yeah.
And obviously the most historical show, NPC Nationals, was the first one, to in the United States. So it's definitely a prestigious feeling to, earn your pro card at the Nationals.
Got Lee Haney, Kevin Navrone, Dennis Newman. I mean, the list is just... even Ronnie Coleman didn't get his pro card at the Nationals, mate. It's perspective, isn't it?
Right.
So, you really came from my radar. I mean, I've heard of you before, but I think it was some of the progress videos it was only about 2 weeks out, and I thought, okay, this guy is really going to be a factor because I was seeing all the pictures and videos, and I was like, okay, he's good, but nothing was really kind of like as a potential kind of winner. And then I think it was a video, and everything just I think it was the last one. You're just hitting your compulsories, and I just thought, okay, you've got my attention now. This guy is really, really good.
Yeah, so we did a pretty cool video shoot with my buddy there in New England, Muscle Media. He's out of our area in New England.
I know him.
And that was really cool because it was at Montanari Powerhouse Gym. So, I was privileged enough. That's another, sort of nostalgic bodybuilding, sort of place as far as, there's where Evan trained out of and stuff like that. So, but yeah, I think this year I finally started to come into my own. So before, I'd been runner-up and stuff like that and close. But I think my physique now was at that level where, okay, this guy looks like he could be a pro, whereas before I'd been close, but, I don't really think my physique was quite at that level to, solidify, okay, this guy could be a pro. So we made a lot of improvements this last year, especially the legs. I did post like some transformation stuff on my pics from last year to this year. And I just think my look is just more developed, more complete top to bottom.
Yeah.
And just everything just sort of is well put together now. Whereas before it was like, okay, like this is a little missing. This could be better. I mean, obviously, I'm still trying to get better, obviously, because I'm not right there because I'm a pro. So it's like starting over, right?
Yeah. I mean, your balance is like, because thing is, like, I mean, for months we've been saying, really everyone in the industry has been saying, look, Carlos Thomas Jr., once that guy gets in condition, he can pretty much just go and pick his pro card up because, he's got a pro level physique, but it just wasn't the condition. He wasn't, I mean, he obviously was a fantastic, but he wasn't as hard as you. So you had someone that, yes, he was bigger and rounder than you, but your conditioning, everywhere, top to toe, in every single pose, every single compulsory pose was absolutely, I mean, you were dry as you could be. So it wasn't, do you know what I mean? It wasn't like it was apples or oranges,
Well, I think that was really an honor too, because for me to be able to stand next to, a guy like Carlos, who we know is obviously at some time he's going to tap into his full potential and do some serious damage on the pro level. So for me to have like pictures like, you know, hanging next to him, and I thought it would compare pretty well.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, you know, his own genetic sort of anomaly, but for me to like look at pictures and be like, oh, wow, I compared pretty well next to this guy. You know, that was a really good feeling too. And as far as like, you know, earning a second place pro card, I mean, I earned it next to that guy.
Yeah.
So that was, you know, sort of solidified a feeling of, you know, good accomplishment as far as like, okay, it was no easy sort of, you know, status to earn.
Yeah. Have you seen the score sheets yet?
No, I haven't.
Because I'm thinking, you know, you got a guy there, like I said, with just, you know, this different kind of physique, but not dry, and then you that's really, you know, you got great symmetry, great conditioning. You know, I'd be interested to see whether it was as a straight first victory for him, or whether it was a little bit more, okay, maybe this guy, you know, I'd be interested to see that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it was weird, like at prejudging. I mean, so I sort of started on the end, and then they put it was funny because I almost felt like they knew Carlos was coming because they literally put him right in the middle as soon as he walked out, and he just stayed there.
Yeah. And
then me and him, it was an 8-man first call out, and me and him split the middle. So at the end, like, so I was towards like halfway through, so I sort of sat there for quite a while. So I sort of knew that I was probably in the 1 or 2, but I mean, I felt like 2 just because Carlos was, you know, they sort of put him there right immediately without even looking at him, you know, so, but yeah, like I said, I mean, that guy just has a crazy physique, and, you know, just to see him, you know, I think he's just going to be something that's going to be a really bright future for that kid.
So how far into the super heavyweights are you?
So I weighed in at 242 and probably on stage 246.
Okay, so 212's out of the contention.
Yeah, I've always had like a sort of thing where, you know, I don't know, I call it like the white guy thing, where it's like you almost look not quite as heavy as you are. So like for me as a pro, I'd probably have to still be like, you know, 260 or whatever to sort of fill out my frame even more, which I think I can do. But because like you say, like, you know, 240, 245, like that's pretty big and in condition. But, you know, it's one of the things where it's like you look at Steve Kuklo, who are probably, he's maybe a little taller, but I'm 5'10", you know, so it's one of those things where it's like I'm going to have to be, you know, keep getting a little bigger or whatever. So whereas like, you know, a guy like Carlos is probably 226, I bet.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Because he's short, isn't he? He's like 5'6", isn't he?
Yeah, yeah. But he looks like he's, you know, humongous, so.
Yeah. But you know what, with you, it's like there's normally I can pretty much guess somebody's height and weight, but it's like, say, with Joel Thomas, I thought he was like 5'10", 260, and he says, no, I'm 5'7" and 225. And it's like, you know, that's a really, I didn't realize you were that heavy, you know? That's incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, yeah, I mean, I don't know, I pretty much just got to keep going forward and try to keep improving, you know what I mean, and fill the frame, like I said.
Yeah, well, you got your pro card now, mate, so you can, you know, so who preps you then?
So my coach, Andrew Barry, we've actually been together since 2015, so he was actually a disciple of John Meadows. He's a coach on his website, so we sort of had a close lineage there. So, you know, I think John would be really proud to look back on this because he was, him and Andrew were like best friends. So
yeah,
that's sort of cool to be part of that. And yeah, so me and Andrew have been together for all these shows. And so it's been a really great relationship as far as, you know, just sort of sticking with the same guy and sort of learning my body. And this prep was really fun because it was a little different. Like, so normally one thing that we did differently this year was, so I usually am known to get in like pretty good conditioning, and like I feel like I usually sacrifice a little bit of fullness to get in that kind of conditioning. And this year we were able to sort of keep a fuller look, but also still be conditioning. And so what we did is we actually kept my water in like the whole time, whereas usually we would cut it, you know what I mean, and sort of, you know, have sips or whatever the day of the show. But I think it made a huge difference in my look. We kept the water in high the whole day, the day before the show, and then did like 0.5 liter. Like, you know, in between meals, which is a good amount of water for me that I'm used to. And I think it just helped me keep that nice full round look, which I sort of have been knocked for in the past as far as like judging and stuff like that. Because usually the judges sometimes are like, oh, like you're peeled, but you're a little flat, you know? So it's one of those things trying to chase that balance, right, of, you know, fullness and conditioning. So, and I think at the national level, fullness is such a big criteria. And then obviously once you get to the pro ranks, it's, even a bigger criteria, that you sort of have to match.
Yeah. For me, you grew into the show. Is that correct, or?
Yeah, definitely. So funny, because like when I think I first started prep, it was like, I mean, I looked decent, but it was just like everything sort of morphs. And I do get a lot of comments as far as like when I'm like 3 weeks out, they're like, oh shit, that happened quick. Like one of those things, like it all comes together. You know what I mean? Not that I'm out of shape, but it just sort of, the details and all that kind of stuff come to life. And, my glutes and my hamstrings all of a sudden show up like, in a couple days, like randomly. It's like sort of a weird thing.
Like I said, I was seeing all your progress stuff, and I was like, oh, yeah, it looks good. And then it was that new Muscle England media guy who posted that video, and I was just like, holy shit, this guy's really good. You really like, and actually, you can go and check, because I put on the forum, the MD forum, I put last week, there was a national thread, and I said, look, the guys that look, the ones that'll be the to watch for in the supers will be Carlos Thomas Jr., Nate Spear, and Chris Fine. That was the 3 names I put up last week. So that was literally just from what I saw on Instagram.
That's pretty cool, man. I appreciate that.
I'm going to screenshot it, and I'm going to send it to you so you know I'm not bullshitting.
Yeah, sure. It's funny, I've actually been following you for a long time, and I've always been like, man, this guy is... I always thought I knew bodybuilding history, but you put me to shame, so...
Thank you. Okay. Oh, wow. So, so where you're from the East Coast, correct?
Yeah, so I'm actually pretty close to Ron Harris. I'm like right on the Massachusetts line.
Oh, wow.
So we're southern New Hampshire. So my gym, I train out of East Coast Muscle. They're like a really nice sort of home bodybuilding gym. They really take good care of me, sort of let me do my own thing and come and go as I please. Don't charge me or anything. They're just sort of happy to be a part of the bodybuilding process, which is really cool because, it's hard to find those gyms these days that are sort of, bodybuilding enthusiast. So I'm lucky I have a good support system. I'm not in like a big city or anything like that, but, just to have like that small group of people that are sort of, really encouraging and sort of pushing for you. I think it makes a big difference,
Yeah. I mean, I literally just had Rafael Brandao on, and I was saying about how Flex Lewis's Dragon's Lair gym is like the new mecca, because one of the reasons is that they welcome bodybuilders, because it feels like, a lot of the gyms over the last 10, 15, 20 years, it's almost like they don't want bodybuilders at their gyms. So when you get a gym that everyone that actually welcomes bodybuilders and actually encourages it, it's like everyone just flocks there, and it's so great to see.
Yeah, I love those gyms, man. It's so, like I said, it's so hard to find, but when you do, it's like it feels like a home, right? It's almost like that connection. Everyone sort of, understands the process, and sort of when people are getting ready for prep, it's like, okay, everyone's like sort of behind that person. And like, maybe if I'm not in prep, but then someone else is from the gym, it's sort of vice versa, so it's always a cool feeling. And especially, you know how it is, like in bodybuilding, some people just don't really understand or get like the process. So when you have people that, can sort of relate, and they know what you're going through, and they're like, not like offering you snacks and like sort of like, oh, like, why can't you eat this? You got that sort of, group of people that sort of get it,
Yeah. So what was it like waking up this morning thinking, oh, that pressure's off now, I've got my pro card?
Oh, man, it's amazing. Like, honestly, I was a little scared last night because I don't know, it just felt, I figured I would be like top 2, but at the end of the day, it's not done until it's done, right? So, and it was a long freaking day, man, because they pushed the finals back to 7, which was supposed to be 5. Yeah. And bodybuilding was last. So literally, I think we went on and did our awards at midnight, at like past midnight. Oh. So I'm sitting there in the lobby on a couch, waiting. Look, you know what I mean? Like the hours going. It's like, God damn, it's not even close yet. It's like shit. And then, so I was waiting at our Airbnb, and we were gonna wait here longer, and our electricity went out.
Oh no.
So we're like, okay, we're just gonna go to the venue. So I just sort of crashed on a couch, and it was sort of a long waiting game. And and I get in my head a little bit. I mean, I think most bodybuilders do, but I'm sort of like, oh man, are they gonna like rejudge it? Or, I felt like I was actually better at finals, but it was one of those things you get in your head, and you're like, because sometimes you do see like, so this year at North Americans, Dominic Triboline, you know who that is?
Sorry, say that again?
You know Dominic Triboline from North Americans?
Oh, I know the name. Yeah, I know the name. Yeah.
So he finished at North Americans, and they thought he was going to win the class. Everyone was like, sort of like, oh, he's going to win. They rejudged it at night, and he ended up getting 3rd, and Eric Wood ended up winning the overall.
Okay.
So it was one of those things I was like, man, are they going to sort of, you know what I mean, bamboozle me?
Yeah.
So you get in your head, and it's that waiting game of like, until it's over, it's not over, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I mean, the Nationals is always. The thing is now there's so many categories, there's so many divisions. And the thing is, if you're on a lot later than you plan, you know, your food's all timed, your water's planned, so you know everything is like it can really. But then again, you're all in the same boat, so I suppose you're all thrown a little bit, aren't you?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So,
sort of tired.
Yeah. So, what's the plan now? Then are you just going to get yourself home? Are you going to have you just have Christmas? Have you thought about next year or what you want to go? You know, beyond. Have you? Did you think about it even before the show? If you won your pro card, what you would do?
So, funny story is I try not to count my eggs before they hatch, obviously, but so I do plan on, you know, enjoying Christmas, and then I think we're gonna actually jump into the Boston Pro Show. So.
Wow.
That's actually in 12 weeks. So
no messing.
It might actually, you know, some people might think, oh, that's a little, you know, soon, but I think I'm not necessarily going in it to, you know, obviously win, but like it's in my backyard, you know, family can come. It's the first ever Boston Pro Show. And so who knows if they'll ever have it again. So to be able to do it in my sort of home city of Boston, have everyone that I know in the area, you know, I think that'd be cool. And, you know, 12 weeks is not bad for me. I've done a lot of like long preps where I've done numerous shows. So it's one of those things I'm not worried about, like being able to stay in conditioning and stuff like that. But obviously the main factor is like the Arnold Classic is the week before. So you're probably going to have like, you know, a lot of those Arnold guys show up and I'm going to be like, what the fuck why did I choose this? You know what I mean?
Mate, do you know what? Because I remember Ron Harris and Jose Raymond talking about the Boston show because it was supposed to be held last year and obviously the pandemic, it got put back, you know? And I think it's very important for, you know, like, say European shows, if there's a British show that the British athletes do it. I think if there's a Boston show and you're a Boston pro, I think it's almost like on you to, do you know what I mean? Yeah. To support it. And like you said, you can have your family. Like I've done shows and I've had shows where there's been nobody there because I've traveled, you know, to God knows where. Right. And I've done shows where it's been local, where all my friends and family can come. And it is, for me, when it's all said and done, that is kind of a big deal, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, my mom hasn't been to a show in probably, you know, since I was doing local shows. So she'd never been to any of my national shows. So it'd be cool to have her, you know what I mean? We're pretty close, you know, and obviously there's a lot of people that I know from like the gym, you know, Ron Harris, Matt Puglia, you know, all those kind of guys. Jose, me and Jose are really close. So, nice. You know, have those sort of guys in the area, you know, come out and watch me. And I think too, like it's becoming a thing where a lot of guys are turning pro and they're jumping into a pro show and they're not necessarily counting it as their pro debut. They're like, oh, that was my soft pro debut.
Yeah.
So I think I can sell that to say, okay, this isn't real. Cause like, you know, Nick did Chicago or whatever. And he's like, well, that wasn't really my pro debut. I mean, it was, but you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, so, I like a separate prep because this is like an extended amateur prep almost, isn't it?
Yeah. So maybe I can sneak it in and sort of justify it that way.
Yeah, no, to be honest, I think it's great because, and also I think that like someone like Nick Walker, I mean, he went straight in 6 weeks after turning pro at the North Americans and then got 4th place. So I think now that the way they judge and the way they you know, with the confirmation round stuff, I feel like everyone kind of gets a chance now. I feel like everyone gets a proper look. You know, like remember the Night of Champions when there'd be 30, 40 guys and sometimes they'd see someone at the back, they'd call out in 4th call out. But the judges had already made, and the judges think this guy's good, but they'd already made their decisions. It's like, I feel like the judging's fairer.
Yeah, I think they're definitely taking way more of a look and moving people around more and making really people pose. You know, I think also like you're saying, I think even like 10 years ago, it wasn't really like that either. It was sort of like, you know, they sort of knew who they liked and that was sort of a done deal.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So anyone you'd like to thank, obviously helping you get your pro card?
Oh, yeah. I mean, my girlfriend, Abby, she's been amazing because, I mean, you guys obviously know it's one of those things. It's hard. It's, you know, it definitely takes a toll on the family, the household. And, you know, she sort of picked up the slack, you know, when I'm, you know, my feet feel like 1,000 pounds and, you know, I don't crash out or take the dogs out. Small stuff like that becomes a huge task. She's been so huge in that way. And my coach, Andrew Barry, obviously, like I said, we've been together for about, you know, 6 or 7 years now and become great friends and have a great relationship.
That's good. That's unusual when people staying that long, you know, through.
Yeah.
That's great.
And he's with me right now. So, I mean, he was at the show with me and, we have a great relationship, and it's been an awesome ride. And I got a couple sponsors, like I said, East Coast Muscle is my gym. They're great. They take great care of me. And then New England Muscle Media, if you guys aren't following them, he's putting out a lot of good content, and he's going to be putting out some more pictures of me later. And he does a lot of video stuff. He did a lot of videos with George Peterson too.
I know. I've met him, and he's a really good guy. I've met him, and he's he's really very, very good at what he does.
Yeah, he's awesome. And then so I'm also sponsored by a company called Legendary Labs. They were a big help in this prep and sort of just helping me get here and financially and stuff like that, and giving me a hand. Because any kind of little stuff like that helps definitely in the long process of things. That's pretty much it.
Well, also thank you for proving my predictions right.
Yeah,
because I said Chris Fine, because Matt Burzik, is it Burzicock? How do you say his name? Yeah, he got third, so he spoiled my top three. But I said on there, I'll screenshot it, I'll send it to you. I might even edit it in actually, just so I can show off. But I said, I feel like these guys give me the top three, So so even all the way over in Europe, we saw it.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I appreciate it for sure, and following, and definitely, put my name out there, and hopefully and luckily I proved you right.
Yeah, you did, and I'm sure Ron will get you on Ronline as well, because he's you're a Boston guy, likes to support his Boston guys there. So, and you're a pro. You're a pro now, mate. And you turn pro at the Nationals, mate, and that's a big deal. It's a very, very big deal. So, and you're going straight into your prep, and you're doing a show in April, March, April. So I think that takes real balls, mate, to do that, to go straight in and straight after it, and that's really good. So Nate Spear, thank you so much for coming on MD Global Muscle. Congratulations on getting your pro card, and thank you for coming on, mate. I really appreciate so soon after, literally still tanned up, straight off stage and straight onto the show.
My pleasure. It's an honor to be on the show, and I follow along, and you guys always put out great content. So, and like I said, I'm a big bodybuilding nerd, so I love any kind of extra coverage and that kind of stuff that's getting put out there. So I appreciate what you guys do for bodybuilding. Brilliant.
Thank you so much, Nate, and go get some food now, mate.
All right.
Thank you so much, mate. And welcome back to MD Global Muscle here at the Rise Media Studio with me, your host, Giles Thomas. I'm joined for that final interview of 2021 for MD Global Muscle, Dougie Fit.
What's up, brother? How's everybody doing?
I'm really well, mate. Mate, you noticed I paused because on your Instagram, it's Dougie Fit, and there is no reference of your name, so that's very confusing. And now, obviously, your Skype is coming up. It says Dougie Connor, so I'm just going to refer to you as Dougie.
That's fine. Yeah, I mean, my Instagram name is it really was just an Instagram name because I'm into weightlifting, and it ended up turning into my brand name. So my Instagram is Dougie Flexx Fit, but my name is Douglas Connor. That's
right.
My name.
Okay. Well, obviously, the big news was you won the Toronto Pro. That was your pro debut, correct?
Yes, sir, it was.
So you won the 212 in your pro debut.
Yes.
A year after turning pro at the Toronto, one of the biggest shows of the year. You beat 2008 202 Olympia champion Dave Henry. You beat the current defending Toronto pro champion Adolphus Quaida. Hope I said that right. So, I mean, that's a huge achievement, mate. How'd you feel?
You know what? It's really all just sinking in. It was an amazing feeling. Everything that us bodybuilders put into it, I really couldn't believe it. My goal was really to crack the top 5, look like I belonged on stage. I really understand the sport, and I understand how difficult it is to win. Bodybuilding being an individual sport, and at the professional level as well. I mean, most guys don't have a full-time job and a family like I do. So I understood the demand that it takes to be a good professional bodybuilder, and I really wanted to pursue it. So I wasn't sure if I wanted to compete as a pro after getting my pro card, because I understood the demand, but I wanted to give it a shot, and I gave it my all, and I ended up just wanting to crack the top 5 and ended up winning the show. So it felt amazing, man. I mean, I was so filled with emotions afterwards, man. I cried, and it's definitely something amazing, especially when I saw David Henry's name on
Oh, God. And he's
he's
deadly. That guy's deadly.
Yeah, and he had just won a show 2 weeks prior to it, so I'm like, I knew he was going to be coming in sharp, and I really didn't know anybody else up there, man. My approach to bodybuilding is a lot different than most. I really just I'm the kind of guy. I just want to put my hard hat on, and I want to work as hard as I can, and let the cookie crumble the way it crumbles. Understanding the sport, like I said, it's very hard to win a professional show. So for me to, go up to Canada and win my pro debut was truly amazing.
I mean, a couple of weeks ago, we did like a bit of a Toronto Pro kind of special episode, and we had Joel Thomas on and stuff like that. And I said, and I put at the end, because we do the hot news and we bring up Instagram accounts and we bring up, sort of news of the stuff that's been posted. And I actually zoomed in on the picture of you in the top 3, obviously the winner. Yes. And you had Dave Henry to your left, and then you had Adolphus to your right. And I said, look at the smile on this guy. I said, he's just won his pro debut, and look who he's just beat. I said, no wonder the guy's smiling.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It was definitely an amazing feeling, man, because, not being from Canada, and I was in Canada totally by myself. My wife wasn't allowed to cross the border because she wasn't considered fully vaccinated. Because she didn't have her second COVID shot before 14 days before entering the country. Mm-hmm. And my coach is kind of a wild boy, so Canada wouldn't allow him into the country. Yeah. So, I've never been anywhere by myself like that, let alone being in another country, man. So it was very stressful at first. Because I had to drive my wife back to a town closer to home so her mom could pick her up. And then I had to drive back up to Canada. And that was really, really tough, leaving my wife behind. And then, when I got into Canada, I couldn't use either of my phones. So I had to, luckily I made it to the hotel. I got lost briefly before, and just being in a whole other country, not knowing anybody up there, and nobody knew who I was either. You know what I mean? The circumstances were definitely difficult. So, I mean, I was definitely surprised that I pulled that one off. That
makes it that much sweeter. I mean, I've competed and I've gone places by myself. And you get that kind of, I mean, from 4 weeks out, you can't even trust your own eyes. And especially in the last couple of days, if you ain't got somebody with you just saying, you look no different, you're fine, you're good, you start thinking, you get paranoid, you start thinking, I'm shrinking, I'm going flat, I'm smooth, I'm watery, my abs are fading, so that really that's a real testament to your kind of, your sort of mental strength, really.
Yeah, it was extremely difficult. Like, on Saturday, I've struggled with anxiety a lot my entire life. I just recently started going to therapy, and that's really helped me out a lot. And, I had anticipated my wife was going to be there. And Saturday, I didn't really have anything to do until check-ins. So, I was going to try to find some things for me and my wife to do. And when she wasn't there on Saturday, my anxiety really started kicking my butt. And exactly all the things you were saying are all the things that were going through my mind, being pro debut. I'm questioning myself. Do I look good enough? Am I supposed to be here? I really started to get down on myself. And my coach sent me a video clip of Teddy Atlas talking to one of his boxers about the kind of mindset you have to have in all situations, basically just saying we're firemen and we go into the fire and it's supposed to be hard. These feelings that I'm feeling, I'm supposed to feel. Because, I'm basically on the brink of greatness, but it's being able to understand those kind of things in that circumstance that, really helps some people mentally get that edge, and then right after my coach sent me that message, my 15-year-old son sent me a message of encouragement. And my son doesn't really, get emotional and things like that, man. So for my son to basically text me and to tell me that, make sure I let everybody know what corners do, man, it was one of those. It was one of those moments I'll never forget, because, I want my son to be proud of who he is and his last name. And, when I got that second message from my son and it was just like right on time, I snapped out of it. I knew I needed to get to a gym. So I forgot that Pure Muscle Fitness is in Canada, and I found the gym. I went there. I worked out. And then I ended up running into the muscle doc, Jordan, and I was a huge fan of his. And he gave me some very powerful, encouraging words. And it really helped boost my confidence level for the show, with me being up there by myself, you know. So after I left there, man, I had a really big boost of confidence, you know, and I said, I'm here. I got to compete. And I just got to go out there and do the best that I can, you know. And, you know, like I said, you know, it was weird. At the beginning of Sunday, nobody knew who I was. And at the end of the show on Sunday, everybody knew who Dougie Flexx was. So that was an incredible feeling, especially other bodybuilders that I'm a fan of, you know, Quentin Beastwood. I'm a fan of Joel Thomas as well. I mean, you know, you see these guys all the time in the bodybuilding circuit, man. So for all of these guys to recognize me and communicate with me backstage after was incredibly incredible.
The greater the challenge, the greater the reward.
Yes, most definitely.
Yeah. Thing is, you didn't just win, for me, from my perspective, from me on the outside looking in, you didn't just win your pro debut, but you won so soon after turning pro. You know, you had all this going on, you know, with turning up by yourself and all these added pressures and kind of stresses. And, you know, when the stress goes up, the cortisol goes up, and, you know, the mind usually goes before the body, and then the body goes. And it's like a lot I've seen a lot happen I've been in the industry long enough to see what can happen to people mentally, and then physically it follows. You know, you beat Dave Henry, you beat the defending champion. And like you said, at the start of the day, they didn't know you were. At the end of the day, you know, what a journey, what an experience for you, though.
Yes, it was definitely a journey and an experience. And, you know, it was another confidence booster that let me know that I can compete in the 212 division. I do know that I still have a lot of room for improvement. You know, as I said before, I'm a fan of the sport and I have a huge ton of respect for it. So, you know, I have a very humble approach to everything that I do. Mm-hmm. You know, a lot of people sometimes say I'm a little bit too humble. But, you know, in my past, I've been through a lot, and life humbled me. And I just know that, you know, anything can be taken from us at any time. So I do my best to live for today, and I work as hard as I can every day. And, you know, I don't take opportunities for granted anymore. So, you know, moving forward, you know, me punching my ticket to the Olympia, that was a dream. You know, when I got into bodybuilding, I used to always joke with my dad and say, how cool would that be if I could get on that stage one day? Not really knowing that one day I could actually get on that stage. Some of the greatest bodybuilders in the world. Is just, you know, something that's surreal. You know, I'm just still soaking everything in.
And you're in a kind of a unique position, because by qualifying so soon after the last Olympia, and with the Olympia being put back from October to December, I mean, you've got a full 12 months to get on. I mean, how much can be done in 12 months? I mean, a huge amount. You could literally, you know, so it's like it's a great position to be in right now for you.
Yeah, and you know, the ironic thing is, I remember when I turned pro with Nick Walker and Marty Fitzpatrick. And I remember right after we turned pro, I got an opportunity to meet Nick and chop it up with him for a bit. And he was like, dude, man, you should come do the Chicago Pro with me. And I said, no, I said, I'm going to be human for a little while. And I knew I needed some time to grow. And, you know, I want to be great at everything that I do. If I worked at a fast food restaurant flipping burgers, I'd be the best burger flipper in the restaurant. So, you know, that's my approach with bodybuilding. I really want to be good at it. I didn't want to just do a pro show just because I became pro. You know, I wanted to make sure my pro debut counted, and I wanted to make a name for myself. So, you know, I planned on doing the show late in 2021 to give myself an off season to grow. My original plan was to do the Japan Pro, but Japan had a lot of COVID issues. They picked a venue, and my one representative from my sponsor company that was over there, she said it was really bad, and she kind of convinced me that even if they could cancel the show and it wouldn't even be a good time to go visit, just like on a vacation. So that's how I ended up finding the Toronto Pro. I picked it on a whim. It was a few weeks after the Japan Pro was supposed to be. And it was kind of weird, too, because I knew that the Toronto Pro is normally in the summertime. So I emailed the promoter. I'm like, is this real? The Toronto Pro is in December. Yeah. And he emailed me back and said, yeah. I said, if y'all are having the show, I want to come up. And he told me to come up. They're having the show. All I had to have was my vaccination card, and I could get into the country and I could compete. So it was kind of like one of those things where everything worked out the way it was supposed to. You know what I mean? Yeah. But it wasn't necessarily planned that way. Because like I said, I win that and I punched my ticket early for the Olympia. So, I have another year that I can make some major improvements.
It's nice to hear as well that your pro debut not just was successful, but it sounded like a very rewarding experience for you overall.
Yes, most definitely, man. I mean, winning anything is an incredible feeling. Yeah. And with bodybuilding being an individual sport, winning a bodybuilding competition, there isn't a feeling that describes it for me, because think about it. Like I'm going to train for 365 days, basically, for 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Age, you know what I mean? Yeah. So, all of the blood, sweat, and tears, the emotions and everything, all really pour out, when your hard work really pays off and you're able to achieve bodybuilding victories, which some people, Seth Rossi actually explained it to me. He said some guys go their whole professional career and never win a show, and some guys, go their whole amateur career and never turn pro, So with me realizing those things and just how quickly everything is happening, man, I just I'm in disbelief, but it's definitely a great feeling. Winning a bodybuilding competition, especially something like the Toronto Pro.
I get a strong impression you're someone that doesn't do things just for the sake of it. You need really strong purpose.
Yes, most definitely. I've been that way my whole life. I'm very strategic in everything that I do. And as I said before, I want to be great at everything that I do, and that goes back to my past. My dad was in the military. My mom is a nurse. So, I really learned that hard work ethic from my parents. And then when I left high school, I kind of lost my way a bit. I went into college and, I made a lot of bad decisions and I was expelled from college. And I went through a real long depression after being expelled from college and just not really knowing where my life was headed at that point. I had a 1-year-old at the time. And, I had a lot of boyish ways. So, when my wife told me she was pregnant with my daughter in 2010, I immediately got scared. Like the fear that I felt that day was nothing that I ever felt in my life.
Wow.
And I knew I needed to grow up. I knew I needed to become a man, and I knew I needed a change. So, I really just got into working out just to give myself some kind of discipline instead of going through life on cruise control like I had been at the time. And, I really gravitated towards it. A lot of things in my life outside of weight training started to go really well. And I was always familiar with the sport of bodybuilding. And my dad used to always try to get me into bodybuilding because he thought that I could be good at it. And I used to always brush him off. I never really paid it no attention. And after a few years of me consistently weight training, which I wasn't even that consistent when I was playing football in college, I kind of just did it because I played football. And my dad called me one day after work and he said, hey, I want to take you to go see this movie. And I always hang out with my dad. So I was just like, all right, cool, we can go see this movie. And he took me to go watch Generation Iron.
Oh,
and I just remember watching that movie and really getting an understanding of the culture of bodybuilding and pretty much what it takes to be a champion. It was very interesting to watch, all of the bodybuilders from Phil Heath, Kai Green, Johnny O. Jackson, Dennis Wolf, Branch Warren, and just really understanding the hard work that it takes to really develop the kind of body that can ultimately win you bodybuilding competitions. And I just remember having a feeling, and I said, you know what, I'm gonna give it a shot. What do I have to lose? I was getting bored with just weight training at the time, and I knew I needed a challenge, and I needed something that was gonna make me better. And if I wanted something that I never had before, I knew I was gonna have to do things I've never done before. So me doing a bodybuilding competition was me stepping outside of my comfort zone. It was one of the best decisions I ever made.
So talk about the Generation 9 movie. Out of all those athletes that you've mentioned there, you specifically mentioned them. Who do you relate to most and why?
Who would I say I relate to the most? I would have to say Branch Warren.
Wow.
He's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
When I started bodybuilding, a lot of people doubted me. A lot of people laughed at me. A lot of people were like, bodybuilding, really didn't think that I could do it. My first bodybuilding competition, I took second place in the novice division, and I didn't have a coach. I didn't have anything. I didn't know really anything about the sport. I just wanted to compete, and I felt like, I could do it. So after I did my first prep on my own, I was hooked.
Yeah.
And I ended up doing 2 shows without a coach. And then now after my second show, I took second place again. And I felt like if I got me a coach and I really took it serious, I could be really good at it. And I ended up winning my third show, my overall,
nice.
which is crazy because the funny story behind that is I actually battled my coach in the overall.
No.
And so
wow, that's cool.
I was going to do my third show without a coach, and a buddy of mine recommended my coach Morgan Rice. And a lot of people didn't like his coaching style. A lot of people said he was like mean and I actually
direct. He's direct.
My favorite coaches when I was growing up were the mean ones, because I knew that they were the ones that they weren't mean, and it wasn't anything personal. But when a coach sees potential in you, they're going to push you to tap into that to bring out the best in you. So I was intrigued when people were like, yeah, he's kind of mean, he pushes you too hard. I'm like, oh, that might be my guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when I talked to him, he asked me to come and pose for him. And I'll never forget, because he ended up turning his best friend, Zach Merkel, pro in 2019 at the USA's. He won the overall.
Yep.
And I remember he walked in the posing room and he took off his clothes and he posed for me. And I'm in my mind, I'm like, oh my God, he's huge. He's ripped. You know what I mean? I'm looking at him like, and at the time I didn't know he was even doing a show. So after he posed, he had me pose for him. And he said, I got some good news and I got some bad news. I said, well, give me the bad news first.
Yeah.
The bad news is we're doing the same show. And I just remember feeling like, I've heard horror stories of bodybuilders allowing competitors to coach them and how sometimes those things just don't really turn out right. And, he said, but the good news is you'll probably beat me. And I'm
No, he did. He said that.
Yes, he did.
Wow,
he said,
fantastic.
He beat him. And he started talking to me in, in bodybuilding terms, explaining my body and just the genetics and things that I had.
Yeah.
And sure enough, he won the super heavyweight. I won the light heavyweight. We battled for the overall, and I won my first show with him.
Wow, fantastic.
And after that, I just, I said that, I knew that was my guy, man. We worked really well together. He helped change my life. I won my first bodybuilding competition with him, and then we've been on a roll ever since. I think I only lost to Pittsburgh since I've been with him. I won the 2018 NPC Elite Classic. Then I won the 2019 West Virginia Mountaineer Classic. I lost the Pittsburgh Championships. And then in 2020, I won the Georgia State Open. Then I won North Americans. I won the Masters, and I won the Open. And then I win my pro debut.
How old do you know, Dougie?
I'm 30. I'm 37. I'll be 38 on Sunday, next Sunday.
He's still a baby.
Yeah.
I don't like this Masters 35 and over. I don't like that. I think it should be 45 and over. I don't like calling the Masters. It makes me feel old, Yeah.
You know what? did my second competition, I remember I was 33 and I ran into Dr. Victor Prisk. He's also a professional bodybuilder here from Pittsburgh. And I remember telling him, I'm like, man, you think I'm too old? He said, no. Nope. He said, you're not too old at all. He said, most bodybuilders don't even hit their muscular prime until they hit their 30s, mid-30s, late 30s. He was like, keep going. And I was like, really?
Yeah.
So I was like, okay. And that was when I decided I wanted to take it serious. And I knew I needed a coach, and the rest was pretty much history.
So where are you based, Dougie?
I'm in Pittsburgh, PA.
Oh, you're in Pittsburgh?
Yes, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
So you're a family man. You've got a full-time job. Do you want to tell us a bit about that?
Yes. Well, it's interesting. I've been. I have a wife. I have 2 kids. My son, he's 15. Both my daughters, 10. They both play sports. They're very active. My daughter plays soccer, basketball, and baseball. My son plays football, basketball, baseball, and he runs track. And I've had them active ever since they was kids. I've worked for Port Authority. I've actually been driving a city bus here in Pittsburgh for the past 8 years. And it's really been tough balancing everything, working a job and bodybuilding, because I've basically been bodybuilding part-time.
Yeah.
And a lot of opportunities have been presenting themselves to me over the past couple of years. So, my sponsor company, prior to me winning the Toronto Pro, I was a sponsored athlete. And after I did the podcast with Seth last week, I explained to them my plans about wanting to leave my job, and I was going to put in my 2 weeks and pursue bodybuilding full-time and personal training, because I also do that on the side as well.
Yep.
And I love training people. I love helping people get their confidence back in themselves. To me, there's no better feeling than helping somebody achieve goals and build and develop that confidence in themselves. So I really developed a passion for that. And my sponsor company, Action Sledge, offered me a contract.
Oh, nice. Fantastic.
Yeah. They offered me a contract, and I put my 2 weeks in at Port Authority, so I'll be able to bodybuild full time.
Wow.
And I'll be able to personal train and really give my shot at the everything that I have.
Wow, do you know what? That's so good to hear. That's so good to hear. So, I can imagine you. I could imagine you, even if you never competed again, say, I could see you doing like motivational speeches in schools. Literally like mentoring like sort of youth and stuff like that. Because you remind me of a British bodybuilder. You even look the same. A guy called Cecil Croasdale. He won the British finals 10 years ago. And he's got a very similar story to you. Very similar story. I see a lot of similarities. And he started doing that. He started working with youth, and he said he actually got a good job doing it. And but I could see you doing that, because I think you really you're very engaging to talk with. And I've never spoke to you before, and I'm really kind of listening very, very intently. It's incredible.
Thank you. I appreciate it. That's also definitely a part of my plans. I love coaching football, and I love working with the youth. So I'm actually in the process of starting a mentorship program. I want to have an after-school program, and I want to have a summer camp for kids. And, I want to incorporate health and fitness.
Yeah.
Educating kids on proper nutrition, especially athletes.
Yes.
I've had the opportunity to work with several professional athletes. And the most important thing that, myself and any professional athlete will tell you is the nutrition.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with Aaron Donald, but he plays defensive tackle for the Los Angeles Rams. And he's one of the best football players in the NFL. And I've had the opportunity to work with him and build with him over the past few years. And, diet and nutrition is something that a lot of kids don't really get, and they don't really understand.
Yeah.
I want to definitely be somebody in my community that can get those important jewels to the kids, and also help them out from the educational standpoint as well. Help give some kids opportunity to get into college and not make the same mistakes that I made when they get into college.
There you go. Because you've got a story to tell that they'll probably be able to, a lot of kids will be able to relate to. Plus, I think a lot of things about, like you said, about nutrition for children, it's education is key with that, because it really helps their phisical and mental development. It can help everything, their health, and the decisions they make now could help them or either hinder them in the years to come.
Yeah, it's funny. I have a saying, and I even tell my son, you are where you are today because of the decisions you made 5 years ago and the decisions you made 10 years ago. So if you want to put yourself in a certain position 5 years from now, the decisions that you make now are either going to get you there or they're not going to get you there. So, a lot of people always ask me, how do you stay so motivated? And I always tell them motivation is cool, but at some point it fades. At some point you have to have the discipline to wake up on the days when you don't want to wake up and do the things that you need to do when you don't want to do them. Because discipline will take you a lot further than motivation. I love motivation and inspiration, and I do my best to try to be that for people, but I also shoot them straight and tell them, when you're sore after working out after a couple of weeks and your whole body's sore and you're like, I don't know how much longer I can do this. Now that's where that discipline has to kick in, because now you're not motivated anymore.
Yeah.
Now you want to take your foot off the gas a little bit, and you can't do that if you want to get to those places that you want to get to.
It's funny. I saw a post on Instagram, and it said exactly what you've just said. It says when you focus less on motivation and more on discipline, watch things fall into place. Yep,
that's so true. And I'm a testament to that. Because most people don't realize how difficult bodybuilding is, and especially in a prep. I've seen so many people say, I'm gonna do a show, they don't follow. Because it weighs on you mentally and physically, especially the diet portion, when you have to really be strict on your diet.
It's a test. It's a huge test.
Yeah, and your friends are drinking and eating certain things. You have to have the discipline to drink your water, eat your food, and not do those things, that are going to take you away from your goal. It's funny, a few months ago, my sponsor company took all of us athletes to a Pittsburgh Pirate game. And at the game, they had so much food there. I mean,
you're prepping.
They had food, they had beer, they had everything, and I'm in prep. And, I'm eating a salad. I'm drinking water, and, everybody's enjoying themselves. And it was actually pretty cool after I won my show, because a lot of the people that were there said that I literally saw you not indulge in an activity where you could have just said, you know what, I'm going to eat some of this and I'm going to eat some of that. So for people to watch me literally just have that discipline, not speak on it, but actually see me have that discipline, that was pretty big.
Well, actions speak louder than words, don't they? And if if each of them are aligned and you're backing it up, with your actions, then it's a powerful message to everyone around you.
Yes, most definitely. Because just like you said, actions speak louder than words, and everything that I've been through in my entire life, for me to be where I'm at right now is remarkably amazing. I have some friends in college who will DM me sometimes and just, let me know that they're proud of me and how far I've come since college. And, they love to see me on my journey in bodybuilding and things that I'm doing right now. So, because there was a point in my life where I felt like my life was over. I thought I ruined my life, and I didn't know if I'd ever be able to pick up those pieces and, be a good father to my children and, be an upstanding person in my community that other kids and other people can look up to. So, I'm just truly blessed and thankful.
Even though in those college days, it was still within you to turn your life around, because once you found your interest and you found your purpose and your direction, you went after it. It's like, you just ran towards it and just went for it. So it was always in you. You just probably just needed to find what you want, what your kind of role was, your purpose, know? So,
Exactly.
So Dougie, are you doing anything before the Olympia next year, or are you just going straight to the Olympia?
I most likely will. I'm gonna talk that over with my coach. We'll probably do like a tune-up show before the O, because you can't have any flaws if you want to win that. And as I said before, I'm very respectful of the sport, and it's amazing that I can even say that I'm gonna compete against Derek Lunsford, Sean Clarita, some of the 212s in the division. But I train to win, and I plan on training as hard as I can, and my body will look completely different on that Olympia stage than it did at the Toronto. And I'm gonna do everything that I can to crack that top 5. if not that top 3 in the Olympia, and really make a name for myself in bodybuilding.
Where did you weigh? What did you weigh at Toronto? Were you on the limit?
Yeah, I was 207. I got on stage at 203.
203. So you've got a good few pounds you've got a lot to play with there. And that's, like I said, you got a full year now. You're in a really good position.
Yes. And that's my goal. My goal is to improve everything. And that's why I say the way everything has been happening over the past couple of years, I'll actually have a year to be able to really focus on training, making sure I'm getting my rest, good recovery, making sure I'm getting my food in, because all right, so I'm going to give you how a day would go for me.
Come on.
During prep. I would get up at 2:30 in the morning.
Hang on. Whoa. 2:30.
Yeah.
2:30.
Yeah, I get up at 2:30 in the morning. Yep.
Okay, continue. Sorry, I just blew my mind already.
Get up at 2:30 in the morning. I have to make sure I had everything prepared so that I'm out of the house by 3:30, 3:40, so that I'm in the gym on the Stairmaster by 4, so that I can make sure I can do 45 minutes to an hour of cardio before I had to be to work at 5:30. Then I would work from 5:30 till about 10 o'clock. And then I would weight train from about 10 till about 11:30. Then I go back to work because I work a swing shift. I'd go back to work until about 5, 6 o'clock. And then I'd have, if my kids didn't have activities where, football or basketball or something like that, I also had clients that I would train till about 9, almost 9:30. And then I'd come home, I'd have my last meal, and I'd go to bed and wake up and do that again. And I did that from July until to the Toronto.
Holy shit. That's oh my God. If there's ever sort of for discipline, like a figure for discipline, it's you. I mean, it's just, but it shows, doesn't it, really, that hard work and that mindset and that attitude pays off. I mean, look, now you've got a sponsor now, so it means you can bodybuild full time, and you've got your side thing with your training, and it's like it's starting to pay off now. It's starting to bear fruit, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It's truly amazing. Because I was prepping my own food, with the help of my wife, of course, and driving a bus and trying to drink, and not trying to, and drinking 2 gallons of water. You're getting up to prep. I made a lot of stops on my trips.
Yeah.
But a lot of my passengers were very nice, and it's kind of cool too, because a lot of my passengers and my regulars, they know me as a guy, I bodybuild, and they really also give me a lot of encouragement as well. And everybody was really understanding when I had to park the bus to go use the restroom.
You were running, weren't you? Sprinting. Wow, Dougie, like I said, we've never ever spoke before. I mean, we had a couple of DMs because I just saw it and I thought, I've got to get this guy on. This is because like I said, I zoomed in and I said, look at this guy. I said, look what he's done. I said, he's beat these 2 guys in his pro debut. Because I went on your Instagram and I was like, I remember this guy from the North Americans, because I remember that was the backdrop that Nick Walker won on, and Martin Fitzwater, and I was just like, yeah, it's just so nice, because like I said, this is the final interview of 2021, and this has been, I think this is one of my favorites, seriously.
I appreciate it very, very much. And I appreciate you for reaching out and having me on. Yeah. It's definitely pretty amazing. Me, creating a name for myself. I remember at North Americans, a lot of the bodybuilding circuits didn't know who I was, and they called me the guy that beat Eric Wood, because was the light heavyweight that was coming in, and everybody knew that he was going to be coming in sharp.
Yeah.
So it was pretty cool for me to get that victory. And me and Eric Wood are really good friends now, man. And we've kept in good contact ever since then. And he actually just won his pro card this year. So it was cool to watch him make that transition, man. So, for me to be able to, continue to build my name and my brand and grow in the bodybuilding sport it's amazing.
Wow. What a story, mate. What a story. Dougie, I'm going to let you go, mate, but thank you so much for coming to MD Global Muscle. Like I said, being our final interview of 2021, it was a real nice highlight to end the year on, mate. But thank you so much. I hope you have a wonderful Christmas. And just like I said, I'm so happy for all your success and your sponsorship and everything. And it seems to be like everything's now kind of, you're getting good support and you can kind of really move forward with your career in 2022.
Yes, sir. I'm excited, man. Thank you very much for having me on, and you all enjoy your new year and your holidays and everything.
I can't wait. I can't wait. Normally, I'm like, I just want to keep working at this year. I'm like, I really can't wait for a couple of weeks off just to completely chill because it's been such a busy year, but like it has been for you. So, Dougie, Dougie Flexx, Dougie Flexx, two X's.
Yes, 2 X's. Yes, sir.
2 X's. Thank you so much, and I'll speak to you very soon.
All right. You have a good one. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Dougie. And welcome back to MD Globe Muscle here at the On the Rise Media Studio with me, your host, Giles Thomas. And we're joined with Brazil's favourite son, Rafael Brandao.
Hey, guys.
Rafael, how you doing, mate?
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me again. I love you, bro.
Mate, the last time we spoke was on stage at the Romania Muscle Fest. Your first pro win. You're going to the Olympia. How did that make you feel finally qualifying for the big show, mate?
Bro, I've been working so hard for this moment, you know. And when I got it, was one of the best moments of my life, you know. And now I'm ready to shock the world in 2022.
Oh, that's what I like to hear, mate. Now, also, a few days ago, the list for the Arnold Classic came out, and you were on it. So you're doing the Arnold Classic in March as well.
Yes. So I'll do Arnold Classic Columbus, and after I'll do Arnold Classic Brazil in my place, you know. I want to compete here to my people. But first, Arnold Classic Columbus.
Now, you did the Arnold Classic, was it in 2019?
Yes.
2019, yeah. But, I mean, your physique is a lot better now. The lineup's going to be very, very good. How are you feeling about going into the Arnold Classic? What's the plan?
So, I want to bring to a stage, like, the most shredded physique, you know. And I know this lineup was crazy.
Yeah.
Everybody in this lineup is high level guys, you know. And let's see. I will work to place high.
Yeah.
You know. That's my thought.
Well, thing is, it's 9 months. It's still going to be 9 months until the 2022 Olympia. So it's not like it's 6 months, you know, so you've got chance to really shut it down after the Arnold to make improvements for the Olympia. You know, it's a good place to be.
Yes, that's perfect. That's perfect because I can compete early the next year, March and April, and then start off season and then start my prep. And this will be perfect for me. And I will do everything next year in the Dragon's Lair.
Yeah, I've just coming to my next question. Now, you're in Brazil at the moment, and you go back and forth between. So, what's the situation with Las Vegas and Brazil? How do you divide your time between those two countries?
Oh, now it'll be better because I can fly straight from Brazil to Las Vegas.
Yeah.
The last year I had to do quarantine, and it was very hard to go to United States. And now I can go, you know, straight from Brazil to Las Vegas. So my plan is go to United States early January, do my prep to Arnold Classic Columbus and Arnold Classic Brazil, back to Brazil in April, compete here, stay here for 1 or 2 months because I have a lot of work to do here.
Yeah.
And then come back to United States to do my prep to Olympia.
Isn't it amazing how Las Vegas, partly because Flex Lewis has the Dragon's Lair, has exploded? You know, it seems to be like the new mecca for bodybuilding, doesn't it?
Bro, Dragon's Lair it's crazy place, you know. When you go in Dragon's Lair, you feel like stronger, you feel like mentally. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's absolutely crazy. And I love to train with Flex, you know. Flex is fucking amazing. He's the best guy that I know. And I love to do my prep with him. He's waiting for me to train. And let's see what but you have to next year.
So last year there was you. Was it John De La Rosa? You had Hassan. Were you all training together as a 4 or 3? What? How did it work?
No, when I was there, Hassan wasn't there.
Okay.
Was just me, Flex, and John.
Mm-hmm.
And then Flex moved to Las Vegas with Hassan too.
Yeah.
And then when I'm back to Las Vegas was me, Flex, and Hassan.
Right.
You know, and it was great. It was great because you can't rest too much between the sets.
Yeah.
And I want to do more reps than these guys.
Yeah.
They want to do more reps, you know. Everything is competition.
Yeah.
Everything is competition. And that's very good for us.
Who trains the hardest out of you 3 then? No, because I've spoke to you before and you said like one's stronger on legs, the other's stronger on back, and who's how does it work? Who's stronger on what?
Okay, I'm strong in legs.
Yeah.
Flex is strong in everything. It's crazy how strong is Flex.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And Hassan is strong too. John De La Rosa is strong too. Everybody is strong. So that's perfect for training, you know.
Mm. So I think that gym now really is. It really, I mean, you've got, I've heard Regan might be moving there. Regan Grimes might be moving there to be trained by Milos at that gym. You know, you've got all these people training there. What's the atmosphere like in that place? And is it the atmosphere or the equipment, or is it a combination of factors?
I think it's the combination, the atmosphere, the equipment, the fact that you have Flex Lewis, 7 times Mr. Olympia, you have Jay Cutler, you know, a lot of high guys. So that's perfect, bro. It's just perfect. Yeah. I think the best place to be bodybuilding in the world right now.
I think it's good as well because I think it's where bodybuilders are really welcome. Mainly because Flex Lewis is a bodybuilder, but it seems to be like bodybuilders are very, very, because a lot of gyms in America, like on the East, like on the West Coast, it's like they almost don't want bodybuilders in there. They just want kind of Instagram people or just normal trainers. They don't want the hard, like in the 90s in Gold's Gym, it was like they wanted all the bodybuilders to be there. And then they were like, no, we don't want you here. Go train somewhere else. But at Flex's, it seems like Flex really, because Flex told me, and he said, look, I want bodybuilders to, I want them to come here. I want them to feel welcome. I want them to fulfill their potential.
Yes, that's perfect because, you know, when you go in Dragon's Lair, you see a lot of athletes, a lot of pro athletes, and that make the atmosphere, you know. Yeah. And everybody's working hard, everybody's diet hard, everybody's doing everything. So it's perfect.
So it'd be very cool if you two train together for the Olympia as well.
Yes.
Oh, God, the footage, the film footage of that will be amazing.
Yeah, will be amazing. It's like old guys, you know. It's like 19 in Gold Gym. Yeah, that's the plan.
Yeah.
Train together and go to stage together and, you know, maybe make some history.
Yeah. Oh, man. Why don't you move to Las Vegas permanently then?
It's hard to me because, you know, Brazil is my place and I have a lot of work to do here. I like to have my family together, my team, you know. I have a big team here. So it's hard to me to move, you know, and stay in United States. But my plan is go to United States, stay for 3-4 months, back to Brazil, stay for 2-3 months, back to United States, you know.
Right, okay. So when you say work and team, what do you mean? What do you mean your team?
Oh, my sponsor, I have some business here.
Okay.
I have my trainer here, my doctors, you know.
Yeah.
I have everything here. I have everything that I need here, you know.
Yeah.
And it's hard to move and stay United States and left everything here, you know.
So, I mean, winning Romania, I bet and qualifying that early, I bet that was a relief, wasn't it?
Was perfect because I had whole year, 1 year to to improve,
Yeah.
and that's perfect. That's perfect.
Yeah.
I can improve, and when I go to Olympic stage, I can make some damage.
I think when you first, because I saw you, remember the San Marino in 2017, and I saw you compete, and you used to be very bottom heavy, very lower dominant in your legs and everything. But it seems now, like when you're hitting your back shots and your upper, like a front lat spread, and it seems that your upper body is a lot thicker now.
Yeah, I've been working hard for my upper body because I had, my leg was bigger. It was big and my upper body was smaller. And now I work for, equality.
Yeah.
And build a great balance between upper body and my legs.
Yeah. The midsection as well is very, very tight on you. And I think that really sets off your physique really well.
Yeah, I like to be honest, I like physics like old guys, My plan is bring like golden era back again, and the body with condition, with line, mass with class. That's my plan.
See, I mean, if you think about Prague, you had Regan Grimes, you had Samson Dowden, and you three, and all three of you have very, very aesthetic physiques. Do you think that's a good sign and a good indication for the future of bodybuilding?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. I think this is the way to bodybuilding next years.
Yeah.
I think.
I mean, you're 29 now. You're 29, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you've made
28.
20. Oh, still 28. Oh, I said somebody. Yeah. I said you were 28 on a comment on YouTube, and someone said no. Rafael's 29.
No, 28.
Still so young, because you're making very, very nice, steady, gradual improvements now. Because when you see these young guys, remember you were 25 at the San Marino in 2017.
Yeah.
And then
I was 24.
24. Shit. Okay.
Yeah.
Didn't you put like something like 30 pound on in a year or something from junior?
Yeah. I put when I compete Marino, I was 235 pounds, 230 pounds.
Where? In San Marino?
In San Marino.
Wow. I see someone said you were 245.
Yeah, I think 248, 230, something like that.
Yeah.
And in Romania, I was 256.
256?
Yeah, 256.
Yeah, that's more like it. And thing is, in that condition as well, and with the extra size and the balance in the upper body, it just, you look like a proper pro show winner now. And I think you'll do. I think you could do well at the Arnold Classic and the Olympia next year. I really do. I think you're a legit top 10 guy. I think you're in the Olympia. Certainly, I think you could do very well at the Arnold Classic as well. I think you said you're making nice, steady improvements, and I think you're doing it the right way.
Yeah, that's my plan. I want to work hard and bring to a stage the physique that you look and say, "Oh, I want to be like this guy." Line, crazy legs, crazy back, crazy condition. That's bodybuilding for me. Bodybuilding is not just about size. It's about you building a beautiful physique with size, with class, with condition. So that's my plan to next year.
See, now you're big on aesthetics. You like you said, you want to have a classic kind of physique in the open. I noticed on your Instagram you were doing the treadmill with the mask on for your cardio, and you spoke about how important it is for you to have good health, good blood work. I mean, obviously this year there's been a lot of deaths in the industry. Was that why you've really wanted to focus on health? Is that why?
Yeah, since I started in professional bodybuilding, I started to take care with my health more,
Yeah.
Because if you are unhealthy, you are not able to do bodybuilding, And I think is you have to do blood work, you have to check your heart, you have to check everything. I do this 3 times a year,
Yeah.
because it's very important. And I want to show for the young guys the right way to do bodybuilding. It's not just about eat a lot of food, take a lot of shit, and don't care about
Yeah.
health. I want to show for these young guys that the next generation, you have to be healthy. That's bodybuilding. You have to be healthy. You have to do everything. It's not just train and take shit and do. That's I want to show.
That's such a good attitude, because many bodybuilders or people who train, I mean, I was one of them, in their 20s, don't have that attitude. They're just like, fuck it, I want to get as massive as possible.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I know.
That's crazy.
So as a young athlete though, when you see, like, when you hear about these tragedies happening, how does it make you feel?
I'm sorry, I don't understand.
When we have these tragedies and these deaths in the industry, how does that make you feel? I mean, as a young athlete coming up, how do you react to that?
Oh, it's hard because I think so different than these guys, because I do my work like slow, puts 5 pounds a year, maximum 10 pounds a year, because I want to be healthy. I want to be and show to young guys the right way to do bodybuilding. So I don't like to put a lot of size in 1 year. It's not healthy.
Yes.
Because I want to stop. I want to stop competing. And I don't know, 40. I don't know, 40, and be healthy.
Yeah.
And enjoy my life after bodybuilding.
Yeah. That's
my. I don't want to just do bodybuilding, and when I stop bodybuilding, stop my life. I want to continue my life, enjoy my life with my family after bodybuilding, enjoy my life with my kids. So that's because I want to be healthy.
Yeah. I think that's really good, because I had Marcelo on last week, Horse MD, Marcelo De Angelis.
Yeah.
And it seems like the top Brazilian athletes, you have absolutely huge fan bases, and you do whatever you do directly influences these young kids. So if you're going up to 320 in the off season and you look unhealthy and you don't look good, and that's gonna affect their approach to how they bodybuild and how they train. So I think it's really good that you're actually leading by example with that, to the younger generation, especially in Brazil.
Yeah, because I like to share, everything in my YouTube channel, everything in my Instagram, to show for these guys. You have to take care of your health, So in Brazil, everybody now is doing blood work, is doing everything, and I'm happy because this. I'm happy because I see that what I do here is like influence another guys, and that's perfect. I love it.
You guys are role models. It's like I said, I'm just starting to get a feel for how loved bodybuilding is in Brazil. It was 2017 actually when Patrick was prepping you, and he told me, and he said, Giles, he says, until I went to Brazil and I saw the love for bodybuilding in Brazil, and it's only grown since then with people like yourself and Marcelo now and Franciel Matos and these other incredible Brazilian athletes. Why is it so huge at the moment right now in Brazil?
Because Brazil is like our athletes in Brazil have been doing a lot of work in YouTube.
Okay.
But bodybuilding now in Brazil is very popular because we have a lot of athletes share your daily life, in YouTube, and people are liking. are liking this, to watching this, and the sport get popular now, you know.
Yeah.
And bro, you have to come to Brazil in Arnold Classic.
Do you know what?
Come.
I would love to, because I remember Flex told me, and he said, Giles, seriously, he says, I've been all over the world. He says, but when I go to Brazil, he says, if we're at expos, we have to have a team of security to get us through. He said, it's unbelievable. You've got to see it for your own eyes.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. So Arnold, when I compete in 2019,
yeah,
2019, I placed second, and Arnold come to me and say, you have the craziest crew that I see in my life.
The what? Sorry, the craziest?
Crew.
Oh, crew. Okay.
Yeah. Because people was fucking, crazy. Saying, Brandao. What?
Yeah.
Bro, you have to come, man.
Oh,
you have to feel it.
I have to see it, because I spoke to Marcelo last week and I said, so what was the muscle contest Brazil like? And I said, what was it? Was it a busy show? And he says, yeah, it was pretty busy. I said, well, how many were in the amateur? And he says, about 900. 900
Yes.
competitors in the amateur alone, not even the pro show. And I can't, it's incredible, mate. It's incredible.
Yeah, it's crazy. I did my show. I have a show here called Brandao Classic.
Oh, wow.
And in 2019, we had like 600 athletes. It was crazy.
Wow. I mean, I've heard that, like, you guys are recognized in the street, like footballers are, or American football players in different countries. I mean, is that true?
Yeah.
Wow. That's...
Yeah. Bodybuilding in Brazil right now is very popular.
Yeah.
That's amazing because when you go to supermarket, you go to anywhere, people come, hey, nice to meet you. I like to watch your video. Good luck your next show.
Yeah.
And that's amazing.
Yeah. So what are the shows like themselves? Is there a really good atmosphere?
I'm sorry?
Is there a really good atmosphere at the Brazilian shows? Because I've seen videos, but I've not really, it's hard to get a real good gauge for it.
Okay, Arnold Brazil. We have now Expo Super Show. It's a big show here too.
Yep.
And we have the Mr. Olympia Amateur. That's the biggest show in Brazil. Yeah. It's like 3X. We have 3X.
3X. Jesus.
3X.
Wow, that's so cool.
Yes. It's crazy, no?
Jeez, that's amazing. I mean, you've got, I'm just trying to think of that. We've got Francis Matos, you've got the Wellness Olympia champion. You've got Kaique, Carlos de Oliveira. He's Brazilian, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yourself?
Yeah. We have Diogo Montenegro, who's top 3, Mr. Olympia. Class men's physique.
Okay, wow, okay.
We have Isa Pessini, Miss Bikini.
Yeah, Isa Pessini.
Angelica, Miss Bikini too.
Angelica Teixeira, Lauren's favorite. That's Lauren's favorite.
It's from Brazil too.
Yeah.
We have Juliana Malacarnes from Brazil too.
The best of all time.
Yes.
Yeah, she's awesome.
The best. Yeah, I love she. Wow. And we have Ramon, top 5 in class physique.
Ramondino.
Yeah.
Yes.
We have a lot of good athletes here.
I tell you what, I mean, with Ramondino and now Marcelo De Angelis, please tell me that you're telling Marcelo to do classic, because he's 5 pounds over when he turned pro. I mean, I'd love to see him with that 5 pound off next to someone like Chris Bumstead. What do you think?
I think he can do some damage on stage.
He's good, isn't he?
Yes. He can. Marcelo is my brother. Marcelo is my good friend. And I always said to him, hey, you have to turn pro. You have to compete in Mr. Olympia with me.
Yes.
And now he turned pro, and people was asking him about class physique, about open, and I think he will do class physique.
Yes.
I
Thank
think
God.
so.
I mean, he's ready now, isn't he?
Yeah, he's ready.
He's ready. He's ready.
If he want to compete in January, February, he's ready, and I think he's ready to win.
He said to me, he said, I've never done an off season. I mean, I wished almost he'd been in the Arnold Classic in March. I wish they'd actually had the foresight to invite him so he would do it. I mean, I know it's pretty soon, but I mean, there's a guy that I think could go in and just, and place, either win or place well.
Yeah, I think so.
Wow. I've got a feeling Brazil's going to be getting some Olympia titles in different categories in the next 2-3 years. I said last week, I'm telling you, Brazil is going to have more than one Olympia champion. I know they got Franciel, but I think the potential is there in the next 2-3 years. Like Egypt and Kuwait, all these countries that have kind of produced all these amazing athletes. I think the way Brazil is coming up now and the way that the athletes are supported, I wrote about this in my column for next month. You are so well supported with fans and sponsors, and I really do see, and then I predict in the next 2 to 3 years, I think there's going to be multiple Olympia champions over all the divisions.
Yeah, I think in Brazil right now, the athletes have the best support in the world.
Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah,
I think sponsors, by fans, I think we have one of the best support in the world.
Yeah.
Because I told you, bro, bodybuilding in Brazil right now is it's crazy. It's crazy how people are liking bodybuilding, and that's amazing for us, for athletes,
I've got an idea, mate. You got to convince Flexx to open a Dragon's Lair 2.0, a second one as well, another one in Brazil. So when you're back in Brazil, you've got a Dragon's Lair to train at as well. There you go.
That's the plan.
Really?
Yeah, that's the plan.
I haven't revealed anything here, have I? Or?
Yeah, that's the plan.
Oh, sorry. We'll edit this. We won't edit it. We won't edit it. We won't. Yeah. God, that'd be amazing. Yeah.
We have here in Brazil the gym where I train is called the Overall Gym. Is the best gym in Brazil too.
Yeah.
And now we are bringing the Arsenal machines from Flexx.
Nice.
To this, because Arsenal is the best machine in the world. It's crazy how Arsenal is good. It's another level. And now we are bringing this machine to this gym, and the owner of this gym is a very good friend of mine, and we have a good support here. We have a good support.
Milos did tell me, he said the Arsenal strength at Flexx, as he said, because it's all been handpicked as well. He said the equipment is incredible.
Yeah, it's incredible. It's the best. It's the best. It's the best. For me, it's the best. I love to train with the Arsenal machines.
I think, am I wrong? Has Flexx been a good in sort of influence on you in terms of business as well as your physique?
Yes, I learned a lot with Flexx. I lived in Boca Raton for 10 months with Flexx, and I learned a lot of not just about bodybuilding, about life, about business, about everything.
Yeah,
he's the best.
Because
now I have that's why it's hard to me to move to United States right now, because I have some business here, and I have to be here, to make sure this business are doing great, and I have to be in Brazil.
That's smart, because as Flexx probably has told you many, many times, you could be competing for the next 5, 10, 12 years, and your name is very, everyone knows it. The time is now to really jump on that and create business and streams of revenue, rather than just being a bodybuilder, retiring, and then 2 years after you've retired, then decide to do something when your name is kind of, it's not as big at the time. So doing it now at 28, think about what you'll have in sort of 5 years' time.
Yes. So I want to enjoy this time right now. My name is because I want to make money to live after bodybuilding, and I want to make my business with my name right now. When I stop bodybuilding, this business continue, and that's the plan.
And I think also on another subject, I think it's really good that as a Brazilian athlete, you've really, really taken the time to learn English.
Yes. I tell all these guys when I start learning English, when I start studying English in United States, a lot of windows open to me.
Yeah, there you go.
You have to do interviews like now. 2 years ago, I wasn't able to do this interview, and now I am, and that's good because I can show to the people around the world who is the Rafael, not just about on stage,
Yeah.
who is the Rafael family, how Rafael think about life, how Rafael think about bodybuilding, how Rafael think about everything, that make people like you, not just competing.
Even if you just had a fan base just in Brazil, that's a huge fan base. But if you learn English, it's just, like I said to Marcelo, I said, why is your following so big and you've just turned pro? And he says, well, I've competed all over the world. He says, I've gone out there, I've competed in that country, in this country. He says, and I've, and he said it's important. He said it's important for me to learn English, like you said, because that's how because there is a bigger world outside of Brazil. There's a huge amount of fans and followers and all that can basically help you kind of move forward with your life.
Yes. So I learned English when I was with Flexx. The first 2 months when I was with Flexx, I didn't speak English.
Wow.
And I was very frustrated, because Flexx was telling me about a lot of history, a lot of things about bodybuilding, about life, and I didn't understand. And so and then I started learning English more, study every single day, and in 3 months, I was talking to Flexx, I was understanding, I was doing everything, So it's not hard to learn English. You have to just be disciplined, It's like bodybuilding. You have to do diet, you have to train, you have to do everything right, To learn English is the same. You have to study every day, and just 2-3 months.
The reason you learned English so fast was 2 reasons. The first reason is because you took yourself to Florida, to Boca Raton, and you're with Flexx every day, and you're around it, you're immersed in it, and you did English lessons as well. And look how fast. Like, you were good. The first time, because I did your first ever English interview, didn't we, last year?
Yeah,
and it was good, and it was like, okay, that worked, because Flexx set it up, and he says, look, he's good enough to speak to you in English now. He says this is a big deal. This is his first English interview ever, and now, it's perfect. It's perfect.
Yeah, that's I keep I still study English, because when I come back to Brazil, I don't speak English. I speak Portuguese.
Yeah.
So when I'm here, if I don't study English, I forget some,
Yeah.
And then start. So it's like it's part of my job right now. Part of, because I want to be one of the best guy in bodybuilding. So to do this, I have to show to the world, not just to Brazil, who is Rafael, So I have to speak English.
So, what have you been doing much since Romania? Have you been training much, or have you just been chilling?
So after Romania, I spent 2 weeks just resting, and after this 2 weeks, I start doing my prep to Arnold Brazil, and then I got this invite to Arnold Columbus.
So you didn't apply; you just got the invite.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
No, I did my apply.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But I was thinking. I think I. Oh, 1 minute. I didn't think they was inviting me.
Okay.
I just did my apply and okay, let's see. And then they invite, so I can't don't compete,
Yeah, I can't see. No, I'm not interested. Sorry, I'll just do the Arnold Brazil.
Yeah, let's do this.
Yeah.
I love to compete. I love to go on stage with the big guys,
So who are you looking forward to being stood next to? You've got like Brandon Curry, William Bonac, Akeem, you've got all these big names and people you've competed against before, but who are you really hoping to stand next to in a call out?
Oh, I like to Brandon Curry, of course.
There you go, look. There's little Brandon.
Yeah.
Little Brandon there. Yeah. So, yeah. I was up. Yeah.
I like to compare my physique with the best in lineup. Brandon Curry is top 2 Mr. Olympia.
Yeah.
So I like to Brandon Curry and Rafael. Let's see.
Rafael and Brandao and Curry. Yeah, that'd be cool. So when do you properly start your prep now for the Arnold Classic? After Christmas, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I started now.
Oh, you started it now. You started it.
Yeah, I started.
Oh shit!
When I got this invite, I sent to Chris, and Chris said to me, "Well, if you are ready mentally, let's go." And I said to Chris, "Okay, let's go.
Oh,
let's do this."
Fantastic!
And Chris the best, Chris. Yeah. I love Chris because Chris believes in me. Chris, he know how my body works. He know if I have time or not to compete. And when he say, if you are ready mentally, I know physical I'm ready. Because I wasn't ready if my body wasn't ready, he was tell me, okay, we have no time to do the show.
Yeah.
But we have time. My body is working very well right now. I have no injuries. I have nothing to disturb my life, and just time to make some improve. Just time to bring on stage a new version.
There we go. And your posing is amazing as well. I love your posing. And also that moment when you won, when Billy said your name in Romania, and you just fell to the floor. We were doing the live stream, and it was just, I think I filmed it actually, and I zoomed in, and it was so cool, that moment when you just literally went, oh my God, you just douche right on the floor. What was that like, man? What was that feeling like?
Bro, I was working 4 years for this moment, and when I heard the guy said, in second place from UK, Samsung.
Yeah.
I thought, oh my gosh, I did it.
Yeah.
Finally, I did it.
Yeah.
So I was very, very, very happy. Very, very happy. My wife, my team, everybody in Brazil. Brazil was crazy.
Was they?
I think it was one of the best feelings of my life. When you work so hard for years for something and finally got it, it's different. It's different feeling from everything.
And I like the tribute posing routine as well.
Yeah.
That was beautiful.
was very emotional pose routine, you know, because when I was competing in Praga Pro,
Prague, it happened that day, didn't it? That day.
Yeah, when I did the pre-shooting, I was sending my photos to Flex, and Flex said to me the news about Sharodin, you know. And Sharodin was a very, very, very good guy to me, you know. He always talked to me. He always asking Chris about me. And when Flex told me about it, I was like, you know, sad, very, very sad, because I wanted to compete with Sharodin this year.
Yeah.
That was you know? And for the Romania Pro, I was with my posing routine ready in the Wednesday. I was ready. And then it was crazy history, because I was sleeping in the middle of night, and I woke up and think, okay, I will do something for Sharodin on stage, you know. And then I start prep this posing routine with his music, and it was very emotional moment on stage, you know.
Yeah. I think everyone it was silence when he did it, and everyone was like, we were all, I mean, you can hear mine and Lauren's reaction on the live stream, you know. It was like, wow. I said, don't say a word, let's just say a word. I was just like, we're just transfixed, you know. It was really, we were really feeling it, you know, not just the music, but the way you were posing and the way, you know, you could tell it was really heartfelt, you know.
Yeah, I know. That's amazing. I love to posing routine, you know.
Yeah, mate, you just sparked a memory. Do you remember when I interviewed you at the San Marino and I had to have Patrick there to translate because you just didn't speak a word of English? The San Marino, your first pro show. Do you remember your first call out? I mean, you were with Brandon Curry. Your first call out in your first pro show at 24. You've been called out with Brandon, Haddy, Cedric McMillan. That must have been incredible.
Yes, it was incredible because we had in this show almost 40 athletes.
Yep.
Think about it, 40 athletes, bro.
Yeah.
And I was 4 years old.
Kid.
225 pounds.
Yeah.
What's crazy because I looked to decide. I saw Cedric McMillan. I saw Brendan Kerr. I looked to decide. I saw Had Shooter.
Oh shit! Wow.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now I will compete with Brendan Kerr again.
Yeah.
So because this I want to, you know, compare my body with him. Because I have a picture in the top 4. I think it was Head Schupan, Brendan Curry, Cedric McMillan, and myself. I have this photo, and I want to compare.
Mate, I've got pictures on my phone from that show. I've got those pictures. I took some. I'll find them because I've still got the pictures because I got the phone pictures go back to 2017. They go back to July 2017. So I'll find them and I'll find the ones with you in the videos and I'll send them to you on WhatsApp.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And you'd be like, wow, shit, you know, that's incredible. Yeah. Like 30 pounds heavy now, and you still kept your aesthetics. And also, mate, you're going to be an uncle soon with Flex having his second child.
I'm sorry?
You're going to be an uncle soon or a god uncle with Flex Lewis having his second child, mate.
Yeah.
Uncle Raf.
The baby's coming.
Yeah.
Think about it. How crazy is this?
I know.
That's They was working for, you know, the another baby when I was there.
Working.
Yeah. They was working.
I can imagine Flex watching this laughing now. Brilliant.
And now when I back there, I think he was born in March.
Oh, wow.
I think so. I think near of Arnold Classic.
Really?
And yes, and look how nice is this.
Wow, that's cool, man. That's cool. Well,
Oh,
Rafael, also, what you do for Christmas? You're obviously staying home in Brazil, I'm assuming, with your family and your friends. Nice.
yeah, I stay with my house here,
Mm-hmm.
and then go to Las Vegas and come back to Brazil. That's the plan for 2022.
Awesome. Well, it was a really good way to end 2021 with that win in Romania. It was a good show. It was a big show. It was a big win. And the thing is, it's like the pressure's off then. You can really relax. Well, not relax, but because you're going straight into the Arnold Classic. But the pressure of having that, of not having to qualify next year. I mean, it's probably... it's like whatever you do at the Arnold is now a bonus because you've still got all that time to prep for the Olympia. So you're in the two biggest shows. You got an invite to the Arnold. You're qualified for the Olympia. You don't, obviously Arnold Brazil. You could probably get the win there as well. So yeah, I think next year's going to be all that work you put in the last 4 years, especially this year. It's really going to pay off now for next year. So 2022 is going to be amazing for you, Raf.
Yeah, that's 2022 to me. I think it will be a great year because everything now is in the right place. We had some with my wife last year. We have some things to do with her healthy, and now he's very healthy.
Okay.
And she will compete again. And let's see. The plan for 2022 is myself and my wife competing the Mr. Olympia together.
Oh, so what category does she do? What division?
Wellness.
Oh, duh. Well, a Brazilian athlete. Well, do you know what? What? I tell you what, I've got an idea. Marcelo and his wife, we got to bring the couples back.
Yeah.
The couples.
Look, she was the first wellness to turn pro.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, she was the first one to turn pro. Yes. That's crazy. And until now she don't compete in the pro show because she had problem.
Okay.
But now she's healthy and come back to compete.
Wow. Do you know what? Brazil's almost at an unfair advantage with wellness, isn't it? They should have a Brazil wellness and everybody else wellness to give them a chance.
Yeah, that would be amazing, bro.
Fantastic.
Because when you got married in 15.
Please remember, you'll be in trouble. She'd be like, how could you forget what year we got married, dear?
No, I think about one day wellness you'll be, you turn pro. Because when I got married, wellness was just in Brazil.
Yeah.
Wasn't no big like now. And now is professional category.
Yes.
And we can compete together in the Mr. Olympia. That's fantastic.
In your matching Olympia track suits, it'd be cool. Yeah, both of you, and then Marcelo in the classic, being called out with Chris Bumstead and Terence Ruffin and his wife competing in the wellness as well. Oh my God, Brazil! What are you doing, man? You just take it. Brazil. Marcelo just kept saying Brazil is hungry. Brazil is hungry, man. He kept saying it over and over again in the interview, and I was like, no shit.
Yeah, Brazil.
Incredible,
bro. Brazil will be one of the best country in bodybuilding. Soon.
I think we're all seeing it. We're all already seeing it happen.
Hey, next year we will have 17 pro shows in Brazil.
What?
17.
What?
Yeah, 17.
Wow, that's incredible. That's incredible.
Yes, we will have 3 open pro show. We will have 3 classic pro show, 3 bikini, 3 wellness pro show. We're gonna have all categories next year in professional.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's incredible. Wow.
I told you, bro. You have to come in.
Oh, come in. I'm invited. It's on. It's a verbal contract. I'm going. I'm definitely going. Oh, I'd love to go, mate. Yeah, I'd love to go because I've been hearing about it for years. You know, like 4 or 5 years. I've been hearing how amazing, and it's just exploding still. It's so great to see. You know, I love to hear stuff like that.
Yeah, Brazil. You're gonna love Brazil. Yeah. I know.
Cool. Rafael, thank you so much for coming on MD Global Muscle again, mate. And this is the last episode of the year, so we're ending on a bit of a high with you, mate, because you're always great. And it's always good to talk to you, mate. Always good.
Thank you so much. I love to talk to you, bro. You know, I have a very special feeling for you because I did with you the first English interview.
Yeah.
You know me since San Marino Pro, and thank you to invite myself here to do this interview, and always when you want, I'm here, Thank you so much.
Oh, I really appreciate that, mate. I really do. All right then, mate, have a wonderful Christmas with your chicken and sprouts and nothing else. And your chicken, your greens and stuff. And obviously, I'll see you out at the Arnold Classic as well, because I'm pretty sure I'm going. So, so I'll see you out there in that first call out, kicking ass.
Look,
okay. Yeah, he's on to
Brazil. Arnold, Brazil. Waiting you.
All right then, mate. Okay, right. I'll speak to you very soon. And like I said, all the best for Christmas and for the New Year. And like I said, well done on Romania, because that was incredible to see and be there in the flesh, and kind of it was very exciting. So good job, mate. Good job.
Thank you so much, bro. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rafael. Okay, guys, we are here for hot news for episode 44 of season 4 MD Global Muscle. Now, this is the final episode of the year, so thank you very much for watching all episodes all year, hopefully. And even though we are very, very close to Christmas and the end of the year, it's actually been quite a big week for news in bodybuilding. So we've literally yesterday, the last couple of days, we've had the NPC Nationals. And do you know what? That was one of the best NPC Nationals we've seen for many, many years. I think the standard is definitely the highest I think it's been for maybe 10 years. Yeah, 10 years. I mean, if you go back to, say, like the 1991 Nationals, I mean, these are the days when you had, like, Kevin Verone first, Flex Wheeler, Paul DeMeo, Ronnie Coleman, Bob Chick, Dean Caputo, Edgar Fletcher. And, I mean, these shows were absolutely... Chris Cormier, these guys... I mean, Chris Cormier was 7th in that one. And, and they're all kind of, obviously, a couple of years later, a year later, these are the guys that were filling the Olympia, the top 6 Olympia for the whole decade, really. So I think it's very encouraging to see the standard of the NPC Nationals is really, really come back. So we're going to go to Bodybuilders Without Borders. Old Daniel L. I bring him up every week because this guy is so, I know I say it every week, but this guy is so on it with the news for every single event. I mean, this guy, I don't know what he does I'd love to speak to him, I'd love to get him on Global to see, I think I might have met him. I'm sure I've met him at one of the Arnolds of the Olympias. I met Michael Bryson, and there was a guy with him. I think that was him because, the 3 best, I think, this is bodybuilding. He's very political now, mind, with his, because he said his posts aren't getting the reach or something. So he reckons he's been shadow banned. You were shadow banned, weren't you? Yeah, let's not talk about that. Let's not open up old wounds. So, what's I talking about? Yeah, anyway, and also Sulio's, who obviously we bring up most weeks as well. And Corona Classic, what's that? Oh, I don't want to know about that. We don't want to talk about Corona, we want to talk about the Nationals. Now, funnily enough, I am pretty much up to date, but on MD Forum last week, I said I thought the guys to watch out for on the super heavyweights were Carlos Thomas Jr., Chris Fine, and Nate Spear. So let's have a look. Carlos Thomas Jr. won the super heavyweight and the overall. Obviously, he's in this episode as well. So yeah, you are. There you go. Yeah, I mean, that's the best picture I've seen actually so far, because I was only seeing like kind of low quality pictures. No, actually, that's a lie. I saw a Whitman picture and that was good, but it wasn't as zoomed in as this one. So yeah, I mean, there's a guy with real, size wise, this guy is ready for the pro ranks now. As he is, but he's got his pro card now. He's won the overall. He's in a very, very big nationals. I mean, hundreds of competitors in these shows. It's incredible. But do you know what? That looks very Akeem Williams. That very. You like that, do you? You like that? Yeah. Very. He looks a bit like Sean Clarida in the face and Akeem Williams in the body. It looks like a bloody Photoshop, doesn't it? His legs are fantastic. Do you know what? I was very worried when I saw it. Sorry. He did the Armed Forces show 4 weeks out. And I mean, he looked 4 weeks out in that. And I mean, you know, trying to qualify in a show when you're not bang on, it's, you know, that's a big gamble to take, really. So, but yeah, I'm pleased to see he brought, I tell you whose legs he reminds me of, John Sherman. Go and have a look at John Sherman. He's a pro from the 90s. Very, very, I tell you what, if you get a picture of John Sherman's legs, the Sherman tank used to be known as, next to his, they're identical. Seriously, identical. I think John Sherman actually runs NPC shows now, and does he judge or just promote? Maybe both. But sorry, agreed. It was amazing nationals, a lot of competition for real. Yeah, I think we all knew in the run up just by seeing all the progress pictures on the Instagram feeds and, you know, and on the forums and everything. I think we all knew that this was going to be a seriously good nationals, and it was. And also the production as well, because if you noticed, a lot of the events now, you know, Romania, the Olympia, they all have the big LED screens. And the thing is, when you do that, you don't have to put any banners up. You can literally program it into the thing and douche, it comes up and it just looks sensational. So this is the future of show production. So if you've got a venue and it hasn't got these LED screens, I mean, promoters are going to have to either bring them in or they're going to have to go to venues where they do have them. But look at that. It's ridiculous. I tell you what, though, still needs to get sharper if he wants to do well as a pro. I mean, there's guys saying that he could beat Nick Walker and everything, and he's top 10 of the. You know, let's just slow down a bit because Carlos Thomas Jr. is incredible. I've been saying for months. I mean, if you watch Global Muscle regularly, I've been saying for months that this guy, you know, is he's a pro level physique. So I mean, everything is there. There's the muscularity wise, size wise. It's all there. Although he does need to bring up his back. I would say back thickness and conditioning before he steps on stage next time. Because if he brings his back up in the next year and comes in 10 to 15% again sharper, I think he can make an impact as a pro straight away. So, yeah, I mean, look at that. Everything's there. Everything's popping. He's lost a little bit of fullness there from the lats. But I think when he peaks perfectly for, you know, when he does his first pro show, I think he's got the potential to be, you know, like a top guy. You know, like kind of like a Nick Walker has, where, you know, they hit the ground running, they're making top 6 and first call outs in their first pro shows, you know. But it's all. My point is, it's all there. You know, the arms, the muscle bellies. That he's got a small waist. He's doing a bit of a vacuum there. He's got calves. He's got everything. You know. Yeah, he's not putting any back shots up. Is he putting any back shots up? Yes. Yeah, I mean, yeah, his back looks pretty good there. But all this needs to come in crisp. This needs to come in a lot crisper. You know, he's in pretty good condition there. I think he won purely on basically the amount of thickness he carries and the amount of kind of and his shape is beautiful. His shape's incredible. But yeah, the conditioning will need to come up for when he turns pro. But you know, yeah. So yeah, the back needs work. But back in conditioning, straight away, this guy could pull a Nick Walker next year. Tell you that now. You know, because obviously Nick Walker, 6 weeks after turning pro, did the Chicago Pro, and he took 4th place in a very good lineup. I mean, in a big pro show, and yeah, you know, yeah, no, he looks great. That's fantastic. Congratulations to Carlos. I'm so happy because, you know, this guy. I mean, he was I think he did the nationals a few years ago as a middleweight. He was a middleweight, and now he's a super. Because we're filming this before we've interviewed him for this episode. Hopefully he turns up. I want to know how far into the supers he is, because I think he's only about 5'6". I'm sure I've seen 5'6". I'm sure that's in my head, which is very, very short for a super heavyweight. So it tells you how much muscle this guy is carrying. But I'm interested to see how far he is off he would be 212. Because, I mean, he might be like if he's like 230, then it's probably no point in sucking down to 212. But if he's hovering around, well, hang on a minute, super heavyweight is 220 and above. You see, if he's any heavier than 225, he's probably better off just going straight into the open. But if he's around 222, 10 pounds off that's a good 212. That's a very good 212. But then again, if he brings the back up, he's going to put more muscle on. He's going to be heavier. It stands to reason. So yeah, very, very, very good result there. Fantastic. And also in this episode, Nate Spear. I saw videos in the lead up, like far out, and then a couple of weeks out, the one we actually in last episode 43. And then I really started to see his physique kind of coming, really flourishing. And I thought, oh shit, this guy, he actually got on my radar. I thought, this guy is actually really, really good. So, yes, do you know, I said the top three would be Carlos Thomas Jr., Nate Spear, and Chris Fine. So Chris was fourth, Nathan, and first was Carlos. So I wasn't too far off. And Mutt Berzicott was in third place. So, John Jewett, question mark. He does like John Jewett. John Jewett, question mark. John Jewett's twin. It's definitely his time, no denying that. He does look a bit like John Jewett. If you squint. Looks like John Jewett. You know John Jewett? You know Renee Jewett's husband? You know, the 212 guy? Yeah, I can, yeah. Yeah. It could be a stunt double. So let's have a look at some more pictures. Condition's good. Yeah, the front right at least. Yeah, he'd be a great 212, but I don't know how far over the 212 limit he is even there. And, you know, obviously with another year of training, he might get bigger, or maybe they can train to get themselves down to 212. I mean, like Flex Lewis was, you know, his best physique was like at 225. I mean, he could be ready to step on stage at 225. We've been saying this for 7, 8 years since he started to struggle to make 212. But there's a guy that, as absolutely dry shredded 212, you know, I'm interested. I'll have to ask him what his height is as well. So, yeah, looks great. Great legs. Fantastic quads. Oh, he's doing the old Kevin Navarone side chest most muscular there. So, yeah, looks good. Yeah, it didn't look as crisp as he did, I think, when he... in the progress pictures, but you know, the high quality photos, you know, reveal everything at the end of the day. So John Jewett's doing that, made me laugh at. Right, yeah. So fantastic, lovely symmetry. You know, tight waist, great abs. Everything's there. The whole package is there. Be interesting to see which way he decides to go as a 212 or as an open. So it'll be interesting to see how far over he is. So let's have a look at some of these other guys. This guy popped up as well. There's a new genetic freak in town. Introducing Chauncey _genetic freak _Heatley. Now I'm guessing genetic freak is not his actual middle name. It's more his Instagram name. So what a lovely physique. What shape is he? Light heavyweight. Oh, he's light heavyweights. Yeah, looks good. Nice shape. Let's have a look. Let's have a look at some more pictures. These pictures don't even compare to how crazy he looked in person. Let's have a look. So this guy's a light heavy. So that's 90 kilo. That's 198 pounds and under. So with this guy, has he turned pro? Oh, he's turned pro. So there's a guy that the maximum weight he could be here is 198 pounds. So that's 14 pounds he still has at least before he hits the 212 limit. So he looks young, doesn't he? Hang on, looks really young. I'm guessing this guy's mid-20s. Lovely shape in his arms and great condition. Nice, tight, small waist. Let's have a look. Yeah, looks great. Great arms, great legs. Yeah, tell you what, with another £10, very, very good 212 here. Very good 212 this guy could be. Yeah, he looks young. He looks really young. So here's another guy that could be... Look at his triceps. Wow, look at those. Beautiful shape. Yeah, nice pop to his physique. Once he fills that torso out, you know, the chest and back, another 2 years, this guy could be making a bit of an impact in the 212. And the thing is, as Sean Clarida has proved, you don't have to be bang on 212 to even make an impact as a 212. So, you know, this guy could be 190, 180. There's good 212 pros way under the 212 limit. I mean, Sean Correda's, 177 at the Olympia, and he was 174 at the Legion Sport, beating guys like Regan Grimes. So look at his quads. God's drying it. That's really good. Yeah, great physique. So this is Chauncey Heatley. So looking forward to seeing him when he hits the pro ranks. Let's look at this guy. John Janowitz. What's his name? Jordan Janowitz. So this was the guy that took second. We'll come to Justin Shear as well in a moment. But this is Jordan Janowitz. I recognize the name. Yeah, it looks big. So this is a heavyweight. So this is under 100 kilo. These are the guys that fall between the 90 and 100 kilo, literally 99.9 kilo. This is the category they do. So, and then super heavyweight is 100 kilo, which is 220 pounds and over. So, looks good. Yeah, good. Conditioning's okay. It's good. It's good. I mean, he could be crisp around the legs and the chest and everything. But, some of these guys are very early on in their careers. Oh, wow. I got front lat spread. Yeah. Yeah, I'd like to see him a little bit sharper as a pro. I think he could... great shoulder to waist, great quads. It looks good. Looks good. Yeah, he needs to sharpen everything up and get a bit more detail for when he when he makes his pro debut. Great back. But let's find. I want to find Justin Shear because this guy's physique really stood out to me. Where is he? I can't find him. Where is he? Justin Shear. Is that the guy? No, that's not Justin Shear. Okay. What's the matter? What? Oh, okay. Move your ass, Giles. Okay. Oh, here he is. I want to show this guy. Yeah, look at this guy's shape. I mean, he looks like his proportions look exaggerated. Justin Shear, who will take the overall, heavyweight or Carlos? So it was close for the overall. This guy nearly, people are putting him in contention here for the overall. Yeah, between Mike and Justin. Okay, look at that. Yeah, he'd be a great 212. Yeah, great legs, great small waist. Crazy proportions, absolutely crazy proportions. So yeah, I like that shot. Shoulder to waist looks good. I like those kind of cartoonish kind of physiques. I think they look really, really cool. Yeah, conditions very good. Yeah, another new face. I like his frontal bicep the best. That's a good shot. Look at that. Wow. Hang on, I've got to zoom in on those quads. Look at that. Look at the feathers there. Very, very good. Yeah, I was excited to see. This guy really jumped out when I saw the pictures of him. But yep, so from the Nationals. Oh, Chris Fine as well. We featured him on Hot News before. So, yeah, it's screen grab of footage from the live stream. So it's it's low resolution. So, but yeah, this guy stood out. He's a bit of a freak, this guy. But, two bit more hamstrings. Yeah, great. He got fourth in the super heavyweight. So that was a very, very good result. Fourth place in a Nationals this stacked. That is absolutely huge. So, right, anyway, we're going to go to our next hot news, and that is Sleuth. So, yeah, more of the same, really. More Carlos, more Justin Spears. We have Nate there. Is that Darren Farrell? Darren Farrell, the Brit. Darren Farrell, the classic pro. What show did he win a few weeks ago? He's qualified for the 2022 Olympia. This is the Brit that now lives out in Dubai, and he suffered from depression to the point of trying to take my own life. I met my wife. I moved country twice. I hated how I looked and felt. I binged on food. Eventually, I found my path and changed my mindset, which has led me to where I am today. Happy, successful, and excited for the future. So there's a really good kind of feel-good story there. Someone who's actually really turned his life around from that to that. So that's great. I met Darren. We met Darren at the NPC European back in August, didn't we? Yes. Yeah, and I had a good chat with him. Nice guy. He works with Jamie Dorigo, doesn't he? They don't work separately. They work together. I'm not entirely sure. Okay. Is it Dorigo coaching they do, or is he doing his own thing? Hang on, let's have a look.
He does some of his own thing.
Okay, but they're friends and they train together and they kind of hang out together, and they're both Brits, obviously out in Dubai, so... But, there's not much on Sulio's, actually. Not as much as Bodybuilders Without Borders. Come on, mate. Step your game up. Right, what else? Who else is standing out? This guy popped up on my feed a little bit as well. Yeah, this guy. 1 hour before stage. Mike Condell. Whoa. Dead center the whole time. Can't take those shoes on stage, mate. Do you know what? Have you ever seen somebody that's walked on stage with their flip-flops? I have. A competitor walked on stage and... Oh, no, it was I won't say his name, but he was interesting guy. I met him. He was a British natural guy, and this was a good few years ago now. And he did his whole posing routine in his flip flops, and he didn't even notice. Everyone was going, "Mate, this guy's got flip flops on," and he did it with such confidence. I think people just thought he meant to do it, and he came off stage and someone said, "Mate, you've just done your routine with your flip-flops on," and he just said, "Oh, did I? Oh, Yeah, that was that's a funny story. And I wonder if I know that guest posers sometimes go on with like Ruli always goes on with his rider wear. He likes those. They're like Otomex, aren't they? Rider wear shoes. He always goes on stage in his baseball cap turned to the side and always wearing his. But we love you, Roli. Do you know what? Very disappointed not to see Roli on the invitation list for the Arnold Classic. But we'll come to that right now. In fact, we'll go to that a little bit quicker because. So like I said, the Nationals literally was yesterday. So the photos and everything's and all the opinions and all the thoughts and feelings are just starting to come out now. So do we show that on Carlos? Maybe go to Carlos. We'll go to Carlos Thomas Jr., the new overall NPC Nationals champion. Obviously the NPC Nationals, to win the overall at that is a big deal. I mean, you can get your pro card by coming top 2 in every weight class, but to win the overall at the Nationals, the NPC Nationals, that's kind of a big deal. I mean, Sean Ray was the light heavyweight and overall winner back in 1987. 1988 was Vince Taylor. I can't remember after that. 91, Kevin Navarone. 92 Nationals. Who was the 92 Nationals winner? 92 NPC USA was Flex Wheeler. I can't remember. But, I mean, a lot of the greats, they were... Lee Haney won the Nationals in 82. So, you're in good company. If you win the overall at national championships, that really makes you stand apart, from someone that got their pro card, which is a huge achievement. But, that's the one you want to win. That's the big one. That's the big one that puts you in company with the greats like the Kevin Navarones and the Sean Rays and all the, Tom Prince and all the other guys that have won it, So, that's huge. That's huge. So anyway, Carlos Thomas Jr. Yeah, let's just show a little bit. I want to show a little bit of video footage so you can see his physique in action. So we'll put the sound on. Should we put the sound on?
Carlos, earlier I've seen Carlos.
Oh no, it's a live stream commentary. They had quite a good live stream commentary as well. Actually, they had quite a few different people on. They were mixing them up as well. They had Neil Hill on there. I didn't recognize the voices of the other guys, but I was listening to them and they really had good knowledge. So yeah, it's very low resolution quality here. Yeah, so, I love the old victory pose. Fantastic. Yeah, frontal bicep is incredible. But he's still not peaked perfectly there. I mean, this guy, when he gets that fullness and crispness and the separation with that size, holy shit. I mean, like you said, he could be kind of like Nick Walker did. I keep saying Nick Walker, but that kind of, going straight into the pros and making an impact. I mean, the back thickness and 15% sharper, which you'll need to be if he wants to do well as a pro. And this guy is going to be a fantastic pro. I mean, if he wanted to go straight into the pros, I'd probably say just suck it down to 212, mate. Because, I don't know, he could do well as an open. He's got the size. He's not small. So, anyway, let's get off there. But, so fantastic. And like I said, we had Carlos on MD Globe Muscle. these porch shots. I love them. This is where he does his progress shots on his front porch. I wonder what the neighbours think when they walk past and they see that. And he's doing frontal biceps on the front porch. So, what's these socks about, mate? What are they? Are they? Yeah, very lovely socks then, mate. Yeah, you can't wear them on stage. But, he's lost a pound of hair there. So, yeah, like I said, it's just everything's there. Everything's there. And he's proved he's good enough to, he's won the NPC Nationals. And it's fine. Don't worry. We're fine with time. And, so I'm really happy because, like I said, as I was saying before, we had him on MD Globe Muscle last year. And normally we don't have amateurs. We pretty much stick with the pros. But, I mean, any idiot could see that this guy was destined for a pro card and a pro career at some point. As soon as he got his ass in condition, you knew that this guy was going to go into any pro qualifying show, and he was going to get his pro card. So, right, okay, and obviously the big news this week is the Arnold Classic in March. March 3rd to 6th in 2022. So we're only, 9, 10, 12 weeks away? Tell you what, it's coming up quick, isn't it? Because it was only September we had the last Arnold Classic because of obviously the moving it for the COVID thing and all that. So it's great to see the Arnold back in March, back in freezing Columbus. So I'm very, very excited. So anyway, let's go through the competitor lists and let's have a look who's there. Yeah, so we've got I want to say 3-time. No, it's not 3-time, is it? How many times has Bonnet won the Arnold Classic? 2018, 20 2020. He's two-time Arnold Classic champion. 2018 and 2020. He took second in 2019 to Brandon Curry. Some say that was Brandon Curry's greatest ever look. Although I think the Olympia look he brought last year was really, really good. Sorry, this year. Back at the Olympia, took second to Ramy there. That was a fantastic look and nearly beat Ramy. He was 1 point behind him in the prejudging. Of course, we've got Rafael Brandao in this episode. Max Charles, Brandon Curry, the 2019 Mr. Olympia and the Arnold Classic winner of the 2019 Arnold Classic. So that was something that only Dexter Jackson and Ronnie Coleman have done, and that's winning both the Arnold Classic and the Olympia in the same year. Samson Dowda, I was so happy to see Samson got the invite. Are you yawning, dear? Wiki. Yeah, so Samson, because I saw that Milos was posting on his... you better hurry it up. It's okay, we'll be 5 minutes late. Samson was staying in good condition because Milos was saying, look, we're keeping him in good condition because we're hoping he's going to get the invite to the Arnold Classic. So I was absolutely over the moon when Samson Dowda, obviously he's already qualified for the Olympia by winning the Prague. Nathan Diasha, Nathan said to me today, he didn't even put his application in for this, but they've invited him. So I think the plan was he was going to be going to Kuwait when this show was happening or something. So he's considering it now, and I would really, really hope we get Nathan Diasha in the Arnold Classic because Nathan Diasha has never done the Arnold Classic. He's done the 3 Olympias, 12th, 7th, and 8th. We really, and he's won pretty much almost every other pro show on the planet. So we really, really want to see Nathan in the Arnold Classic. So could he win it? Yeah. I think I'll tell you what, Nathan.
Samson.
No. Nathan, Bonac, and Brandon Curry could potentially be the top 3. 4th, 5th, and 6th. Very early predictions here, I know, but let's not do this now because it's too early. We've got Regan Grimes, obviously. I don't think he's done the Arnold Classic before. Steve Cooklow was 3rd place this year. You know, we all thought he was going to get 2nd when he came out with Nick Walker. So great to see Steve Cooklow in the Arnold Classic, a show that he's been saying for the last year or two as he really wants to win this one. Cedric McMillan. Cedric's on a bit of a slide at the moment, but we'll see what he can bring. You know, he didn't look too great at his last show, and he was a no-show at a show that he was supposed to be doing. And Justin Rodriguez, that's the guy to watch. That's the guy that could cause an upset potentially with Brandon Curry and William Bonac. So that's the guy that could, theoretically, he could pull past these guys. So Brett Wilkin, very excited to see Brett in there, a new face. Obviously, you know, probably one of the sensations of 2021, where he took 2nd place to Hunter Labrada at the Chicago Pro in his Open Pro debut. Absolutely incredible. And I can't wait to see what he's going to bring because it's great to see new faces. And this is a guy that could cause some damage. And of course, we've got Rafael Brandao, who we had in this episode. So I'm very excited to see him back in the Arnold Classic. He hasn't done it for 2 years. So, so I think I'm just going to quick look at the others. Breon Ensley and Terence Ruffin, names that stand out to me there. They're kind of probably the leading guys. Obviously, Breon Ensley, a 2-time Classic Olympia champion. Terence Ruffin, runner-up, and the current Arnold Classic champion. Sorry, runner-up at the Olympia to Chris Bumstead. And of course, he's the defending Arnold Classic champion. It's funny because imagine if he wins the Arnold Classic, he only won the other Arnold Classic 6 months before. So, but Peter Nowalna, okay, men's physique. Yeah, I think we'll leave it at that. Anyway, so right, okay, then I'm going to go to Dougie Flexx. I still need to find this guy's name out because I'm sure his name isn't Dougie Flexx with a double X. But obviously, we had him in this episode, and fantastic new 212. Turned pro at the North Americans last year and just won and beat Dave Henry and Adolphus Coida. I hope I said that right, at the Toronto Pro Super Show. So he's qualified for next year's Olympia now. So let's have a look. Let's have some good physique shots. Here we go. Yeah, lovely physique. Yeah, great new physique. Yep, did well beating Dave Henry and Adolphus there. That's incredible. Right, okay, we're going to go to our next shout-out because we literally need to wrap this up very, very quickly. Otherwise, we're going to overrun. Rafael Brandao, 1 million followers. I love when they put health and beauty on there. Is that the category of the Instagram account? Health and beauty. Very beautiful, Rafael. Right, okay. This was a post I was on about when I interviewed him. He's been doing, he's very, you haven't got the translate thing. On the laptop, you don't have the translate thing. On your phone, you can press translate and it tells you. But it's basically, he was saying he was doing this to test his lung capacity and his cardio capacity, because it's basically, look, he's got a blood pressure monitor there. So he's obviously very concerned about his health, because, I mean, we have had a lot of deaths this year. So bodybuilders need to lead by example and really, really, focus on health, not just getting big and winning contests. It's about health and getting blood work and doing these kinds of tests, because at the end of the day, like he said in the interview, if your body ain't healthy, you can't do what you need it to do, and you can't win, and you can't compete, and your bodybuilding career will come to a very, very abrupt end if you don't take care of your health. So I just want to show off. That's his lady, isn't it? That's the wellness lady, his wife. It's funny when he couldn't remember what year he got married. I was like, mate, you better remember. Was it 2015 or 2016? Yeah. So he said she had some health issues last year. That's why she didn't compete, but now she's all good. And so I didn't pry. I didn't really ask too much about that. But there we go. Yeah. And obviously we were in Romania. See, he's only posted two pictures from Romania, which he won, and then he's posted loads of pictures from Prague, which he didn't win. So I don't know what that is. We showed these last week, didn't we, anyway? Yeah, we showed these last week. Yeah, great physique. And his upper body's popping now. I wonder how he'll do at the Arnold Classic. I'm very excited to see that. And there he is next to our good friend Samson Dowder. Really hope we get Samson in the studio next year. Oh, I got to get him in the studio. I want to do an episode. It's so much fun. When we had Jamie the Giant here, it was so much fun, wasn't it? So, yeah, look. There's two guys bringing aesthetics to the Open, and they're both qualified for the 2021 Olympia, both in the 2022 Olympia. They're both invited and both doing the Arnold Classic in March. So it'll be interesting to see the rematch between these two guys as well, bringing it back old school. Yeah, I suppose, yeah, old school. Yeah, old school aesthetics, I suppose. But he's, what did he say? He was 256 here. Yeah. See, you got to be careful though, the legs. He doesn't want to get those legs any bigger unless he brings the upper body up bigger, because he's going to lose that. He could potentially, if he's not careful, I don't think he will, but I'm just saying it now. I'm stating it now. He's got to keep that physique balanced if he really wants to move up into the top 6 Olympia, because he's got everything there. What a lovely physique. And wasn't his routine lovely, the Sean Roden tribute? That was beautiful. Yeah, it was great. Really great. And it was very heartfelt. It didn't seem, it was very genuine, basically, what I'm trying to get at. So, look at the back as well. See, Fouad Abiad doing the commentary said his back was weak. And I'm like, his back was pretty bloody good to me, actually. I think that's one of his best shots. Yeah, very good. Condition's great. Everything's deep, deep separated and etched and stuff like that. So, and that is it. Yeah, we're going to go to our last hot news, and that is MD. So, of course, MD, enables us to have this show, MD Global Muscle, which we absolutely love producing. And, and obviously Buff Bombshell show, your show, takes care of the ladies' side of the industry with Lauren Lotte and Emma Heineman doing a fantastic job. There's nothing I wanted to show you on the MD Instagram. I just wanted to thank them really for supporting us and making sure that we can bring the show to you every single week, all year round. For 3 years now, we've been doing Global Muscle. So this is episode 124, 125? Is this 44 or 45? I've completely forgotten. Right, okay. Well, okay, that is it really. So just want to wish all our viewers a very Merry Christmas, and hope you've all had a good year, and you've got lots of cool stuff planned for next year, and you're all motivated, and training's going well, and you're going after what you want in life, because it's important. So, yeah, okay. And also thank you there to Laura, my lovely producer, for pressing the buttons and listening to me rambling on every week. So, and of course, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell, because it's very important, because you need to know when MD Global Muscle is coming out, and Buff Bombshell, and Ronline, and all these other wonderful shows that we brought to you by MD. And that is it. So I hope you all have a lovely Christmas and a wonderful New Year, and we will see you in January 2022, the new year. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Why do I keep saying that? Thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting, and we are out.